On a crisp fall night, across sweat-stained fields of green. For over a century, these battles for bragging rights have raged across the nation. Tradition, camaraderie, and a desire for victory like no other create a passion among these gladiators of the gridiron, where outcomes become not just victories, but legend. These games are the Great American Rivalry Series. On a cold December day in 1905, New Jersey and Pennsylvania clashed in what has become one of the oldest cross-border conflicts in the nation. Now playing on Thanksgiving Day, the Peaburg-Easton matchup brings together families, fans, and alums alike.
The more this game continues on, as you look around, you can see all the parents, grandparents, and the grandkids now coming around.
And it's all about the kids on the field, also the cheerleaders, the band, and all the people that come back at Thanksgiving time to be a part of this.
We got here at 6 a.m. this morning and continued from last night, setting up, getting everything ready to go. Been coming here 35 years since I was a kid growing up. My dad taught here in school, so.
A guy just came to me and said this is going to be his 61st straight game. He's never missed a game in 61 years, so I think that's pretty awesome.
It's not just a game for the kids today, it's a game for the grandparents and everyone else who has played in it.
Some people make their name for the rest of their life in this game, so it's kind of neat what goes on, for sure.
Books, movies, and even television shows can't begin to portray the tradition represented by this original Friday Night Lights showdown. As the sun sets, the lights shine down on the Odessa-Permian-Midland League clash, adding to the lore that is West Texas football.
There's excitement in the air like there is with Friday Night Football, especially out here in West Texas. And the Odessa-Permian football game, or any Odessa-Permian football game, is phenomenal.
When you're playing against Lee, you have to come out and be ready to knock heads.
Well, this is a big game for us every year.
We've been kind of involved with these two teams since the 80s.
What it means to be a Permian cheerleader is that you get mojo in your life every day, and it's kind of an indescribable thing.
We were willing to face anybody at any time. I think that, this mojo is back in the city.
Here we are once again at the end of an annual classic here in Odessa. But Permian came on strong in the second half and closed the deal on one of the classics in the Great American Rivalry Series.
Family, friends, and alumni from across the country gather to tailgate for the largest regular season rivalry game in the country. With the traditional shillelagh firmly in the hands of the winning team, the more than 35,000 fans exit the stadium, and plans are already underway for next year.
It's been going on since the 50s, and both schools have great traditions in football. The two school communities, as you can see by the crowd, they mark this game on their calendars and they come out here, and it's just a great opportunity for all of us to get together. And they got to remember that even though it is a huge rivalry and there's going to be a lot of people here, it's still football.
Just beyond the beaches and palm trees, the bright lights shine down on a carpet of green. And if you stop to listen, you'll hear the sounds of a pounding drum line, welcoming the soldiers of the Soul Bowl to another battle in Broward. A performance of historical proportions is sure to ensue.
It's always this big a game. Yeah, you can expect this stadium to be full in about an hour.
This is a big game. We have fun. The kids have fun. This is the biggest game, the Soul Bowl. It has been like that ever since I was a little girl. I mean, my uncle played for Ely, my brother played for Ely, so this is like a family event.
Dating back to the 19th century, Baltimore Poly versus Baltimore City has been a unifying and tradition-laden test for supremacy. With more foreshadowing than a Hollywood script, this rivalry, played in Raven Stadium, often produces players that will play there again someday.
I'm a 1977 graduate of Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. My experience in high school at Poly prepared me for the rest of my life. Don't leave anything on the field. When you walk away from this ball game, you say to yourself, I gave it all I had.
It was kind of like
the Detroit Lions and the Dallas Cowboys, but it was a local event and it was big time in this area. And just to be able to play on Thanksgiving, be one of the featured games that was shown throughout the city, it always meant a little more, and the fact that we played City College made it that much more important.
This is a character builder for the players on these teams. They may not know it right now, but here you learn how to win. You learn how to lose. You learn how to conduct yourself with character and dignity. It's a season maker for the team. We look forward to it for the whole year. And like I said, you remember it for your whole life.
The first time these two schools met, there were no helmets, no pads, just football. With the NFL Football Hall of Fame just footsteps away, the tradition represented by the annual clash between Massillon and McKinley has few rivals in the state of Ohio, as these classic warriors fight for the right to own the day.
I remember as a small kid growing up, my main ambition was to play for the Massillon Tigers, and it really had an impact just watching those guys ahead of me lay the foundation for our great tradition. Still a great series.
As a fan of either of these two teams, you have a choice to make. You can wait to see one of them compete in the state championship game, or you can go to one of the best rivalries in the nation and see them both every year. This is the Backyard Bowl between Jenks and Union.
Well, we're 11 miles apart. We're the second and third largest schools in the state of Oklahoma.
It's not hard to, play at your best when, 35,000 people are watching you scream. If it was a 30-point game right now, it wouldn't be over. I've seen so many wild things, and that's probably why it's a great rivalry, is that it's never over until the last snap.
Combining for more than 24 state championships, the matchup between Burns and Gaffney pits two of South Carolina's biggest powerhouse programs on a playing field that is likely to give fans a preview of some of the state's best talent, surrounded by rich tradition and just good football.
We've been rivals, for years now, and you hate Gaffney. I mean, it just comes with it. Whenever you're in the Burns family, it just comes along with it. And whenever you play the game, they aren't fans of you either. So it just puts everything else into the game.
This game is it's outstanding. You gotta come here and watch it. I mean, it's prime time.
There's the best, and then there's the rest. And out west, when Mission Viejo and De La Salle line up, fans are assured of some of the best high school football around. But when they meet on a Friday night, it's all about that game and winning.
Well, I know Coach has a great program and he likes to play against the greatest programs. And De La Salle is a class act from Northern California. We play the tough teams down here, and I know he wanted to play some of the tougher teams throughout the great state of California, and he got one in De La Salle.
We come out, we play our hardest, and we're always proud to play for our school, for our community, and especially for our coaches.
In 1893, the first fans of the old rivalry, as it is known, tied up their horses outside rows of wooden bleachers to watch the boys from Male and Manual. This battle for the barrel predates electricity in Kentucky and epitomizes all the things envisioned as the originating game of the Great American Rivalry Series a decade ago.
The crowds are the biggest, the passions are the greatest. That's where you ought to be.
Everybody came to this game, whether you're a Male or a Manual fan, everybody came out to this game. It was played at the fairgrounds, which is really equivalent to this arena right here today, and it was great.
It's just a terrific rivalry. The students really excited about it.
And if you walk our halls, you'll see down our Male Manual Hall all the past history of this game. We take pride that we've been playing since 1893. And, our goal is to make sure that this game remains the sacred thing it is.
Well, it means everything. If you can't get excited about Male Manual Week, there's something wrong with you. We just have activities all week long for Male Manual Week, and we're excited to be out here at Papa John's Stadium playing the game. We got a great game today, and it's just exciting for the kids.
I grew up with the rivalry. My dad is a Manual person. He went to the high school in the 1920s. I went to Manual, followed my dad, and my dad started bringing me to the games in 1956. My dad is in the Hall of Fame at Manual, He went to 72 consecutive male manual football games.
The male manual rivalry is such a great rivalry. It goes back so far, and I am just so proud to be a part of it.
But when it comes time to put the helmets on Friday nights, we hate each other for about 48 minutes.
These things right here, they don't give them away. They don't give them away. We thank you for what you're doing for our country.
One thing remains unchanged: the traditions as the greatest American rivalries.
The Great American Rivalry Series is in a noisy Louisiana. We are in Destrehan, where the Wildcats tonight are taking on their rivals from across the river, Hahnville. Welcome aboard, Robert Williamson, Freddie Rosario. Freddie, this is a ball game year in, year out, a battle. Doesn't matter who wins it. The next year, it's still a battle. What do we expect tonight?
I mean, last year was 49-0. Destrehan came up with the win in Tiger Stadium last year. This time they're at home. Hahnville really wants some redemption. These two teams absolutely hate each other, and they will do anything to get this win here tonight.
I know it's not a playoff game, but it's as close as you can get to a playoff game without being one.
Definitely a playoff atmosphere here. This is a whole week leading up to this game. There's chanting back and forth. There's pranks that the students pull. I mean, everybody's into this game, even the parents and former alumni.
What do we look for as fans? Do we look for a lot of run? Do we look for a lot of pass? Do we look for a balanced effort? What exactly do we expect from the Tigers and Wildcats?
Definitely for the Wildcats, it's much of a balanced offense. They try to mix the ball up with their wide receivers, Smith and Merritt, and new quarterback coming in. Don't know how he's going to perform. It's his first year starting. And obviously Will Matthews, the beast of the East Bank, as I used to call him when I announced. He's a great running back. But for Hahnville, it's all about the running game. They haven't really gotten a passing game the past 3 years out of their offense, and their defense is very stout, and I look for them to have a great game here tonight.
It is very, very noisy here. Obviously, there is some bit of a home field advantage, more so tonight because of this boisterous crowd.
I don't think so, because I think both stands are very even a match, and Hahnville's actually a better road team lately. They haven't won many games at home. They go on the road and play much better as a road team.
Well, you're talking about a team that plays well on the road versus a team, Destrehan, that has played a lot of games at home. This is their 5th straight at the house, and it's about to get underway. It's part of the Great American Rivalry Series. It's a dandy, and of course it is brought to you by the United States Marines. We are back with more after this.
The Great American Rivalry Series is brought to you by the United States Marines. The few, the proud, the Marines. By Toyota, let's go places. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Safeco Insurance. What matters to you?
When there's excitement in the air like there is with Friday Night Football, especially out here in West Texas, it's all about it's on the field. Also, the cheerleaders.
But when it comes time to put the helmets on Friday nights, we hate each other for about 48 minutes.
To the 20, 15, 10, he's going to take it to the house. He's to the 5, breaks the tackle, and touchdown.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans. But the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
Great American Rivalry Series is in Louisiana, Destrehan to be exact. Wildcat Stadium as the Wildcats prepare to take on the Tigers. The atmosphere is electric. And as Destrehan came onto the field, the Wildcat partisan were already celebrating. I think they feel like this is going to be a win for Destrehan, but I got a feeling some folks on the other side of the stadium, they've got the same thoughts.
I had the same feeling. Hahnville's a very good team, and I don't think Destrehan's going to come up with an easy victory like they did last year.
Prior to the game, there was the acknowledgement of the scholar athletes for Destrehan. It is Randy Harvey, a three-sport athlete that is lettered in baseball, soccer, and football, awarded all-district in soccer, a member of the National Honor Society, Student Council, Mu Alpha Theta, Beta Club, and Theater. He plans to attend college and major in architecture. And for Hahnville, it is Landon Kindler, a four-year member of the Honor Society, carries a GPA of 4.0. Member of the football team where he is captain, and plans to attend Tulane and major in mechanical engineering. Well, when we come back, we're about to break here for the national anthem, so we'll let you know more about the United States Marines, who make all of our coverage possible. Back to the stadium after this.
You have to be crazy to go outside in this heat, like Harry. I saw him leaving this morning with that new water thing of his. It's like a snowmobile that floats. Doesn't he worry about being swept out to sea? Or sharks? You're gonna eat that thing all over yourself.
Some people want more out of life, and we insure the things that make more possible. Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
There's no need to worry about how you're going to pay for college anymore. The iHelp loan program enables students to fill their needs when financing their education. If you need to borrow money for college, as most Americans do, SLFC and the iHelp loan program may be your best option. The loan features the most competitive rate available and is offered through your local ICBA bank with the help of SLFC, the student loan company thousands have trusted to help them pay for college. Go to slfc.com and explore all your options now.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans. But the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
Destrehan, Louisiana on a Friday night. As the Wildcats get ready to take on the Tigers, let's take a look at the guys who will be on the field first for both. And we start with Destrehan. Here are the starters for the Wildcats. At quarterback, Austin Perrin. In that backfield, Devontae Craven. These, by the way, are the Hahnville starters. You've got Devontae Craven. The fullback is Drew Dunn. The receivers are Ricky Preston, Waylon LeBlanc, Brandon Singleton in that offensive line, which will be creating holes and blocking for Perrin, are Carmichael Crichton, Landon Kindler, Drew Melancon, and Adrian Young, plus Drew Jones on that offensive line as well. So those are the starters for Hahnville. Meanwhile, the defense looks this way. It is Corian, Renaud, Anderson. You've got Brandon as well as Morgan and Dickerson, Sanchez, Zaid, Payne, Logan, Wilbon, and Leonard on the field. And we'll take a look at the starters for the other guys too. Aaronsborg, Matthews in the backfield, the receiving core of Merritt, Smith, and Armstrong. Williams will be on the receiving end of Rohrensburg's passes as well. The line consists of Abate, Weems, Price, Dewey, and Kiefer. And in the defense, looks this way. In the secondary, Williams, Gilmore, Young, and Favre. Robert Marshall and Cloud, the linebacking core, and the line consists of Thomas, Camardale, Brown, and Palace. Let's send it down to the field where, as we speak, the captains are meeting, and we'll have the coin toss.
How you doing? Paul LaRose, pleasure to meet you. Other officials you've not met. Over here with Mr. Abrod on the sideline, Mr. Center. Officials over here you've not met. Right here's Mr. Forcan on the sideline, Mr. Palestina, and Mr. Duncan. We have very special guests with us tonight. We've got Staff Sergeant Pineda with us, Sergeant Tan, Gunnery Sergeant Morgan. These men are members of the United States Marine Corps. I'm honored to have them here on the field with us. The sacrifice they make for this country, we'll be proud of them, proud to have them here. You guys are going to call a toss, right? Good deal. Only thing I want to tell you is we want to have a good ball game. It means good, clean, hard football. You talk to your team, not to them. You talk to your team, not to them. Good sportsmanship. You team as captains, you take care of your team as captains. We're clear on that? Excellent. All right. Sergeant Page is going to toss it. That is a head. That is a tail. It's either going to be heads or tails. What's your call? Tails. The tails is a call. Staff Sergeant, you can toss it. Good toss. Almost about camera. It's a head. You want to toss? You defer to second half.
Well, there you have it. And by the way, the honorary captains for tonight's games representing the United States Marines, Marine Staff Sergeant Pineda and Gunnery Sergeant Morgan. They executed tonight's coin toss and are our special guests. And speaking of the coin toss, it went from about the 45 on one side of the 45 or the other on the coin toss. That was one of those strong coin tosses from the United States Marines. Let's take a look, by the way, at the keys to the game, which are also compliments of the United States Marines. For Destrehan, play assignment defense. Get the ball into the playmaker's hands and then stop the run and run the ball. So, Freddie, that obviously is a key for a lot of teams playing football tonight.
Yeah, but it's especially true for these Destrehan Wildcats. Their playmakers are on the outside. Some of the fastest wide receivers I've seen in my years of announcing, and one of the best running backs that I've ever seen in Kirk Merritt. So I think it's going to be a great game here tonight. Keys to Hahnville winning this football game: no turnovers. Play good rushing defense, and by golly, avoid the overtime game. They've had a couple of triple overtime games already this year. They don't want to go into OT, although they're 500 in the OT games. They just don't want to play the extra quarters. Yeah, definitely. It's been a killer for these Hahnville Tigers to go out there, play 4 quarters, and have to go the extra mile to try to get away with a victory. And obviously no turnovers. You don't want to turn over the ball. They have a freshman, first-year starter in Austin Parent, so it's going to be hard to see how he will handle this noise and atmosphere here in Destrehan. Aren't you a little surprised at the fact that Destrehan decided to kick the ball off despite winning the coin toss when they've got that high-powered offense? Well, I'm very surprised, but I guess they want to get Hahnville out there first, see how they're going to attack their defense, and then hopefully get the ball in the second half with a lead and try to go up big. Ricky Preston back deep to receive. Devontae Craven is back as well, as we are ready to begin football on a Friday night in Louisiana. The Great American Rivalry Series, 100-plus games this year. And this one underway with the Bradley Ocean grab inside the 25, right about the 23, and goes nowhere. And that's where things start offensively for Hahnville. Line of scrimmage, the 24-yard line. Obviously, field position key in any ball game. 24, not great, not bad either. About average. Yeah, well, obviously they lost a couple starting kickers here on both sides, so they're working in new kickoff artists, new kickoff field goals. So it's going to be a very good, nice to see how that matchup's going to work out the rest of the game. Austin Perrin was not the starting quarterback when the season began, but an injury put him in that spot. This has got to be a big game for him. And it is Perrin who's wrapped up on the line of scrimmage, gets nothing. Yep, their first starter, Mike Neal, fractured his collarbones a couple weeks back. And I don't think the Hahnville Tigers have recovered on offense since. Saw they had a couple of nice passes in the first opening games, but their passing offense has really stalled ever since Neal went out the lineup.
Perrin is just a sophomore. How long does it take to work out the nerves, to get those butterflies out of the gut and play football?
Well, he's been around sports all his life. I know that for a fact. I know that he's been in these kind of pressure situations, but obviously not with this ruckus of a crowd here at Destrehan.
2nd down and 10. Opening drive of the football game. Perrin out across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Nice fake by Perrin. Thought he'd put it into the gut of his running back, but instead he's off to the races, picks up the first, gets 11, and it is 1st and 10.
Showing some good mobility there, able to scramble out after almost stumbling. That's an element of offense Hahnville's really missed. Last year they had a very mobile quarterback in Dylan Keller, and now they're trying to transition that with Austin Perrin here tonight.
Devontae Craven to that backfield. Thought for a minute that Perrin had put it into the gut of Craven, but instead pulled it out, takes off, gets 11. And it is 1st down and 10, and there's the first penalty flag of the ball game. It is dropped prior to the snap, and apparently somebody moved on that offensive line.
Yeah, the noise here is going to be a huge factor for this offense to overcome.
You mentioned in the opening that Hahnville is not a team that throws the ball particularly well. They're more of a run-oriented type team. Does that mean if you get 2-3 touchdowns behind, it's tough to come back?
Oh, definitely. It's been hard for Hahnville to come back from a lot of deficits, especially last year in this rivalry. They're very much on the ground game. They believe, like the San Francisco's mantra, run the ball and play good defense.
Up the middle for a few goes Drew Dunn, the 5'9", 190-pound junior running back. Crosses the 35 up to the 36-yard line. Got a yard. I'll make that 6 yards. There was 5 marked off on the illegal procedure call, so he gets 6. Crosses the 35 to the 36, where it is 2nd down and 9. "79 degrees at game time under mostly cloudy skies, but forecasters say most of the wet stuff is cleared out, and we've got another flag. And according to the Wildcats, Tigers will be pushed back another 5.
Yeah, definitely the Destrehan 12th man is showing up here tonight in full force.
The house is packed. I'm not sure how many it holds. I would say around 10 grand. And there are better than 10 here as they're in the additional bleachers, brought into the end zones. They're draped around the sidelines.
Definitely one of the most anticipated matches between these two schools in a long time.
2nd down, 14. And back to the line of scrimmage prior to the penalty goes Ricky Preston.
Obviously trying to get the sweep game going with their speedy wideout. Unable to get much yards, had to cut it upfield. It's going to be really tough, I think, for the Hahnville Tigers to get the corner against this speedy Destrehan defense.
This matchup, Battle on the River, has 7 current, not just past NFL players, 7 active NFL players. And as a matter of fact, it's my understanding that National Geographic is in town doing a feature on this area as Perrin fires his first pass of the ball game. It is complete, and it is for a 1st down. Nice job by Brandon Singleton, who found the 1st down marker, got a yard beyond it. Perrin hits him, and the chains move again.
That play is definitely going to be key for the Tigers because Perrin's not the tallest quarterback in there, so he's really going to have to move himself outside the pocket to get a clear passing lane to those wide receivers on the outside.
But to go back to the thought, National Geographic's here in town because this is a hotbed for producing NFL talent. As a matter of fact, there is more NFL talent that has come from this part of the nation than any other part of the country.
Especially with big schools like LSU recruiting out of here all the time. Leonard Fournette from New Orleans playing for the Tigers now.
Across midfield, inside Wildcat territory goes Drew Dunn. On a gain of 4, it will bring up a 2nd down and 6 at the 49-yard line. As a matter of fact, at halftime, one of the guys recognized for the Great American Rivalries Hall of Fame going to be receiving an honor, and Ed Reed is obviously one of the greatest from a safety perspective to play in the NFL. He will be honored. Just an idea of the talent that comes out of it. And there is a timeout on the field that is asked for by the Wildcats. The Wildcats not expecting to be pushed around by the Tigers early, and right now, 4 minutes in, it's The Tigers with a little mo. 2nd down and 6. When we come back, let's take a timeout. The Great American Rivalry Series brought to you by the United States Marines.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
2nd down, 6. Football just inside Wildcat territory. Perrin on the option, and he squeaks out a pair. It will bring up a 3rd and manageable near the 46.
I don't think Destrehan had any intention on tackling the big back on that one. I think they knew Perrin was going to take that all the way. I think that's going to be mainly how Hahnville tries to attack this Destrehan defense with a lot of misdirection because they don't really have that great of a passing game as we mentioned earlier.
Are we in 4-down territory for Hahnville?
I believe so. I don't think their kicking game is as good as it's been in years past. I believe Perrin, the quarterback, is their punter. So it's going to be tough to see how they manage that all night.
2nd down, make that 3rd down and 3. Football at the 46. Perrin, quick pitch. Preston around the end. Wrapped up, can't get back to the line of scrimmage. Lost a yard.
That was a huge tackle for loss there. That really got the crowd up into it. As Preston just unable to get the corner.
Earlier we were asking, I was, whether it was 4-down territory. If you get back to the line of scrimmage, if you pick up a yard or two, maybe you go for it on 4th, but they didn't, and they're not.
Yeah, I believe they would have had the back to go for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, but a little bit too much, and I think Coach Salta Formaggio just decided to play it safe and punt the ball away.
John Williams standing back at the 10-yard line. Perrin to boot it away. It hits, it rolls, and trickles down to the 14. So the opening drive of the ball game produces no points, does get a few first downs, and there is a victory of sorts for Hahnville, and that's in that they keep the Destrehan offense off the field for the better part of 5 minutes. And they don't give the Wildcats particularly good field position to begin this drive.
I think the time of possession should favor Hahnville if they want to win this matchup. If Destrehan could just hold the ball and drive down the field like they usually do. I saw a couple of drives that they left out on the field in their earlier matchups. I think they'll be really hard-pressed to finish those drives off here tonight.
I am going to make the assumption that the ball was touched at the 19. It rolled down inside the 15 to the 14, but the line of scrimmage is the 19, and that's where it will be 1st down and 10 for the Wildcats. Out across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Not a big gain on a 1st down carry by Will Matthews. Gain of 2.
Yeah, the defense really stacked up the run there in the middle. I think Hahnville's going to try to attack Will Matthews, the running back, because I think they want the quarterback, Derensburg, to throw the ball. They try to beat their corners on the outside.
Derensburg, just a sophomore, but he replaces a guy that started 4 years for the Wildcats, so they haven't had many changes at QB, and when you don't, you typically get consistency on offense. 2nd down and 8. Firing long. Pass is batted around. A little bit short, intended for Kirk Merritt. Broken up nicely, and as a matter of fact, Merritt had to turn into a defensive back.
Yeah, as that was Williams and Young combining for the pass breakup there for Hahnville. As I just mentioned, they might want to test the waters a little early on the deep ball. I didn't think they'd go second play of the game, but I think Hahnville really wants Destrehan to pass the ball and beat them through the air.
Incomplete pass brings up a 3rd down. We'll call it 8, closer to a 9. Derensburg with a shovel pass. Wrapped up, dropped behind the line of scrimmage, loss of 3, and it will be a punting situation.
Great anticipation there by Caden Miguez for Hahnville as he just came in and blew up the play in the backfield.
Caron Taylor goes nowhere except the wrong direction for the Wildcats. So the opening drive for Destrehan produces nothing. As a matter of fact, a negative 3 yards on 3 plays. And it is punt time, and this time, barring a turnover or one heck of a kick, Tigers ought to wind up with decent field position. Back to the 45-yard line. That's where Brandon Singleton makes the grab, finds running room, up the middle, 40, inside the 40, down to the 36.
Oh, just tripped up there in the middle of the field. Had a couple men to beat, just tripped up, as that sends the Hahnville crowd into a frenzy on that kick return. Haven't had much of that in the past seasons, but that definitely will provide a spark throughout much of this game.
12 months ago, it was a 49-zip Destrehan win. Not saying this one won't be, but it sure doesn't look like it early.
Oh, Hahnville definitely not going to get pushed around like they were last year. I believe the new coach, the new regime in there will energize these Tigers a little bit more.
Perrin, one drive under his belt. If he had butterflies, they should be just about tossed. Pitch back. Preston can't get to it. Loose ball. Fight to get it at the 49-yard line. Let's see if the Tigers get it back. They say they do. Wildcats think they've got it. The guys who have the final say haven't indicated. Now they do indeed say it is second down. Boy, that could have been disaster for Hahnville.
I was about to say Hahnville definitely avoiding disaster. One of the keys to the game was no turnovers and an easy pitch back. Preston unable to find the ball. Almost gave Destrehan great field position. And you do not need to give this Destrehan offense any more possessions than they already will in this game.
It is a loss all the way back to the 48-yard line. Loss of 13 brings up a second down and 23. Couple of receivers to this side for Perrin, who's only gone upstairs once. Make it twice now as he rolls out, fires. Pass is complete to Singleton, and Singleton gets a lot of the yardage back. Lost on the bad pitch to Preston on the previous play.
Destrehan might want to consider putting a spy out on Perrin for when he does that bootleg rollout, because I think that's mainly going to be their passing attack throughout this game.
And you say this guy, this sophomore guy, Perrin, was a backup. He looks like a seasoned vet right now.
Well, he's been around sports all his life. He's been playing football since he was probably like 4 years old. I know his family very well. He's been around sports. He's played every single sport, baseball, basketball, all that, football. So this is just another test for him, and he's definitely doing it on the biggest stage of his life right now.
And that stage is Wildcat Stadium. It's the battle on the river on the Mississippi. 3rd down 8. Perrin flushed out of the pocket. Loses the football. Fell on by the Wildcats.
Yeah, that just goes to show his non-maturity there. He just should have thrown the ball away, tried to make a play rolling out, got his feet tangled up, and just didn't hold on to the football. The most important thing when you're a quarterback and you're about to get sacked.
We talked about in the opening the keys to the game. One was for Hahnville, don't give up the football. Don't put it in the hands of the Wildcats. Perrin did it there.
Yeah, obviously a mental lapse there for Perrin, and now the Tiger defense is really going to have to pick it up as Destrehan has great field position here, and they could go down the field in one strike.
1st down and 10, football at the 44-yard line. One drive results in a punt. Stuffed out at the line of scrimmage, no gain for Will Matthews. Then the second drive for Hahnville wraps up in a turnover. 3 and out on opening drive for Destrehan, and here we are on drive number 2. 2nd down 10 at the 44. Fake. Derensburg got running room down the sidelines, tiptoes inside Tiger territory to the 47.
And when you have a powerful back like Will Matthews, that play action fake will always work, and the defense will bite on it all day because they are not expecting Derensburg to keep the football when you have such a powerful back like Will Matthews.
Gain of 9, 3rd and short. First trip inside Tiger territory for the Wildcats. And there is a whistle. Don't see the flag, but I'll make the assumption there is one, or either a timeout. And it is a timeout. And it's charged to the Tigers. So the Wildcats have called one. Now the Tigers do the same. Both now with 2 apiece. 3rd down and 1 when we come back. But first, we take a break from Louisiana. It's the Great American Rivalry Series in Destrehan, and brought to you by the United States Marines.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Will Matthews lowering his head and shoulder pads. A flag comes out. I have never seen a flag thrown that high. I don't know that it's relevant, but that official's got an arm. But let's see what it's about, as Matthews was hit at the line of scrimmage, driven backwards. And we'll see if the loss remains and it stays fourth, or if penalty yardage will be marked off. It will be against the Wildcats, and now it's decision time. And I would assume they want to know exactly where the football is, because if they decline the penalty, it is 4th down and 2 or 3. If they take the penalty, they give this high-powered offense another opportunity.
Well, obviously there, Frederick Brown made a great play on the line to push Will Matthews back. I'm surprised that they're taking the penalty. I would have definitely taken 4th down and make him punt it, but when you have Will Matthews, that play-action pass play, you never know. They might as well back him up, and it's a big mark off there.
15-yarder all the way back to the 38-yard line.
So
were the Tigers thinking that maybe they're going to go for it on 4th down?
Probably so. It is 4th down also, so, I mean, 15 yards to go get it. I think Hahnville thinks their defense can hold up and knock them down once again.
Originally a 15-yard mark off. Now the officials put it back to the 43. Earlier in the game, we thought a ball was spotted after the punt at the 14. They put it at the 19. So,
and with a game of inches like football is, all these valuable yards are going to play key into this football game, as Destrehan will punt the ball away.
It does stay, as you mentioned, at 4th down. So obviously that changes why you take the penalty. Reverse. Singleton around the end. Lost the football out of bounds. It has slipped out of the hands of a Tiger now 3 times in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Fortunately for the Tigers, they've only given it to the Wildcats once.
And number 36, Chris Marshall, came with a huge block to try to give Singleton the edge there. All for naught, as he was tackled about 3 yards later. But I think Singleton's going to have a really good game in the punt return department.
Third drive of the night for the Tigers will begin inside their own 30 at the 28-yard line, where it is 1st down and 10, 2:38 left to play in a quickly expiring opening stanza. That's primarily because, despite the fact we anticipated quite a bit of passing from the Wildcats, we've actually had more passes thrown from the Tigers thus far. Up the middle, big hole, and it was shut down quickly, though. Up the middle goes Bradley Acion, senior running back.
Made that Oquin.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive.
I mean, you're from Louisiana, I'm from Alabama. You know, in Alabama, we put a southern slang on everything. But
especially going to Hahnville, I know almost all the weird Cajun names that they throw out down here.
Perrin with a give up the middle. Again, another gain of about 3 or 4. It will bring up a 3rd down and 3. Drew Dunn on the carry. That one I can figure out. You know, the DUN ends, I got them.
Yeah, you got that, as Hahnville really moving the ball well, running the ball thus far. Just had a couple hiccups, the one fumble, and unable to convert on a 3rd down attempt as they get another try at it right here.
Let's see if they keep it on the ground on a 3rd down. If you average as much on 3rd as you did on 1st and 2nd, you got it, but I don't think they got it. They don't. Snuffed out behind the line of scrimmage is Devontae Craven.
Yeah, Preston really missed a block there. Not known for his blocking ability, known to go downfield and get the ball, but his running back really needed a block and wasn't able to pick it up, as the Tigers will go 4 and out.
It's our job to speculate, to analyze, to question. They do a couple of plays right up the middle. They get 3 or 4 per pop. Then on a 3rd down, when you only need 2, you bring it to the outside. Do you think they should have kept it up the middle?
I mean, the way they've been running the ball up the middle with their 3 back rotation, I think they should have ran it up the middle, but maybe they thought Destrehan was going to sniff that out, stack 8 or 9 guys in the box. Maybe if they get it outside, they get a little bit more running room for the running back.
Perrin with the kick to John Williams, calls for the fair catch at the 35.
So Perrin really holding his own there in the kicking department and passing the ball thus far for the Tigers.
Fans, tonight's battle between Destrehan and Hahnville has been designated as one of the over 100 featured games in the nationwide 2014 Great American Rivalry Series presented by the United States Marines. Game selection for this series based on history, tradition, great football, and awesome fans. We wish to thank the Marines and iHigh Sports for selecting tonight's contest as a part of the 2014 Great American Rivalry Series. Pass complete. And the flag comes in from about the mid part of the field.
As that was Kirk Merritt for the 10-yard reception. As it might be coming, it might be more tacked on.
We will sort out the penalty. And it is coming back. So the Merritt grab, which had enough for the first, is not a Merritt grab for a first in the official stats.
Yeah, a few mental lapses for Destrehan thus far, taking away a couple big plays on penalties. As I'm sure they'll try to clean that up and try to get those big plays going for them later on in this quarter and in the game.
Penalty marked off with a point of infraction. That was at the 46, so it is first down and 9, and snuffed out. Absolutely no gain at the line of scrimmage. It was Will Matthews stacked up and stuffed.
And I'm very impressed with this Hahnville front line as they've held Will Matthews down about 4 or 5 yards rushing the ball thus far, and was a great running back for the Wildcats last year en route to their semifinal appearance, and he has done absolutely nothing for them tonight.
12 minutes of football. We've stuck it under the belt. Wrapped up is period number 1, and after 1 it is scoreless, and nobody's been inside the red zone. And when we come back, Wildcats will try to do in the second what they did not do in the first, and that's put points to the board. We are back with more football from Destrehan. It's all part of the Great American Rivalry Series, and it's brought to you by the United States Marines.
You have to be crazy to go outside in this heat, like Harry. I saw him leaving this morning with that new water thing of his. It's like a snowmobile that floats. Doesn't he worry about being swept out to sea? Or sharks? You're gonna eat that thing all over yourself.
Some people want more out of life, and we insure the things that make more possible. Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com.
The house is rocking, and the house is in Destrehan, Louisiana. Wildcat Stadium as the Wildcats play host to the Tigers, where it is second down and 9 for the home-standing team. 5th game that's been at their own place. Only got 3 road trips, and those aren't extensive road trips. As the handoff is given to John Williams. Tries the right side, and he speeds his way across the 40, near the 43, and a late flag thrown in. You got to believe something happened on the sidelines that brought the yellow hanky.
Yep, definitely the Hahnville sideline chippy right there. Probably a late hit out of bounds if I'd had to guess.
Football can get a little dicey.
Yeah, especially when you don't very much care for the other team.
Did a junior college game last night, as a matter of fact, and when all was done and over with, it wasn't all done and over with. Game over, middle of the field, fight breaks out, so tempers can flare during and after. And the tempers apparently flared over on the sidelines, and a little extracurricular shoving has got penalty yardage marked off against the Tigers. Into the 43-yard line is where the Wildcats go, first down and 10. Trips to this side, solo act to the opposite side. Matthews in the backfield behind quarterback Marquise Derensburg. Handoff given to Matthews. Matthews got running room. Twist to the 37.
See, and that's what they were missing there in the first quarter. That Matthews finally got a hole that he could run through, accelerated through the hole, got 6 or 7 yards on that play.
Second down, we'll call it 3. Football just shy of the 36. And off to Matthews. He's got the first. He's got a little more. Lost the football. And the Tigers have got it at the 19.
Wow, and that's a surprise. I've never seen Will Matthews fumble the ball. He's one of the most sure-handed running backs I've seen. And just a great play there by this impressive Hahnville defense, definitely outdoing the performance of last year thus far.
It was Jamonte Williams, the 5'7", 140-pound defensive back that came up with it. It was a kick. There's the kick. Matthews lost it and was going, it's got to be nearby. He didn't realize Peyton Roberts inadvertently kicked it right into the hands of Jamonte Williams.
As now the turnover battle back even as Hahnville gets a shot here on offense off the turnover.
Tigers thinking poetic justice, Wildcats frustrated. Looked like they were on the prowl. Most productive drive of the night for the Wildcats. Had gotten inside Tiger territory, but it stalls out with a turnover by Matthews, and the 19 is the line of scrimmage for Perrin and company. Rolls out. I don't know that he ever intended to throw. And probably a good decision. Finally tracked down from behind at the 33, gain of 14.
As you saw there near the end, made sure to wrap up that football on that tackle. So Perrin doing a great job there, gaining about 13 yards, as he said. Just a great run and a little bit of mobility out of the little man out there on the field.
Was he ever going to throw the football, though? I know it looked like he was from the standpoint of the design of the play, but I'm not sure he had any intent on tossing the ball down the field. First down and 10 at the 33. Perrin's got Dunn in the backfield. Underneath center on a first down, and I think Dunn wanted it, and Perrin said no, and they got a little tied up, and as a result, lose a yard.
Yeah, Hahnville can't afford any miscommunication like that. You almost have to play a perfect game to beat these Wildcats in their own home, and just a real sloppy play there on second down.
Loss of a yard, second down and 11. Supposed to cool off after the rain came through. It came through, but didn't cool off.
I'm sure those players are feeling it down there on the field just as we're feeling it up here in the booth.
A warm night here in Destrehan on a second down and 11. Perrin has thrown a couple of passes, completed both. Not throwing here, and no gain there. As a matter of fact, a loss of a yard will bring up a third down and 12 on the carry. Was Devontae Craven.
Some confusion there in the Destrehan linebacker and secondary corps, but their D-line stepped up and wrapped up the running back for a 1-yard loss.
Third down long. In the first stanza, opening drive, Tigers in a similar position, and were able to hit Singleton on a 14-yard gain to pick up the first. Let's see what happens as Perrin rolls out, takes off, and he's crunched at the 36. Gains 5, but needed a whole lot more.
Yeah, he had real no way to get the ball out. Both wide receivers running routes were covered, and he just had to eat it and take a fourth down play.
By the way, as part of the United States Marine sponsorship of tonight's game, they brought their national chin-up challenge to Destrehan. We encourage fans from both Destrehan and Hahnville to participate in the Marines Chin-Up Challenge to see who can do the most chin-ups. I understand that it is happening to my left, the chin-up competition as we speak. Perrin with a punt, line drive shot. Williams lets it hit and roll. It does, and trickles out of bounds around the 23. Well, if you and I got into one of these chin-offs, I somehow think you're going to win it. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit of the youth, I'm a little bit lighter frame, so might be able to rock out a few chin-ups over you.
I appreciate you, kind of coming up with excuses, but I think it's that you're stronger and I'm weak. But do want to say thank you very much, United States Marines. They get involved in so many aspects of an event, not just the football game, not just an MVP, not just the scholar athletes and the inductees into the Hall of Fame, but the chin-ups, social media utilized to its max. Marines obviously huge, not only in sports. We know where they excel, and that's in other parts of the world as well. And keeping us safe, thank you very much. First down and 10. And that pass grabbed by Williams.
As the Destrehan side erupted on that one, a great one-arm grab. As it looked to be perfect coverage there in the secondary, but you cannot cover a perfect catch like that.
I think Eric Gilmore thought, I'm about to pick this thing off right there, and then Williams reaches up with one hand and comes down with a grab on the long reception from Derensburg. First down, 10 for the 45, incomplete pass. It was intended for Devontae Clark. Or scratch that for Tremaine Armstrong, and it is incomplete.
Armstrong, more like their third wide receiver out there, still does a great job on the outside. Really a go-to guy that they go to after Smith and Kirk Merritt.
And off to Matthews. Got a big hole. Pounds his way to the 25.
And that's the Will Matthews I'm used to seeing, running up those big holes that great offensive line for Destrehan provides for him and gain 20, 30 yards a clip.
Deepest penetration of the first half for the Wildcats at the 25.
Doesn't even get touched until he's 5 yards past the line of scrimmage and gone.
First down and 10 at the 25-yard line. Timeout asked for, and it is the Tigers who say, we got to talk. It is scoreless, but it may not stay that way long. At the 25, Destrehan, we are back with more football. This is the Great American Rivalry Series, brought to you by the Marines. Battle on the mighty Mississippi, the battle on the river. Hahnville and Destrehan. Wildcats at the 25-yard line after the Tiger timeout. A little too much personnel on the field. Kirk Merritt summons to the sidelines. Handoff goes to Matthews. Matthews, no running room, does not get back to the line of scrimmage. And it is second down and 11.
Hahnville defense definitely sniffed out that run by Will Matthews, able to drop him for about a 1 yard loss.
Anything surprise you yet? We're about a quarter and a half in.
No scoring. That's the major surprise. Destrehan, prolific offense with three great wide receivers on the outside, a great running back, a great quarterback supposedly out of Derensburg. And I haven't seen much out of them thus far. This Hahnville defense is really, really surprising me thus far.
Second down and 11. Derensburg with three receivers, wants one of them, and it is picked off. And the same guy that recovered the fumble makes the pick. It is Jamonte Williams.
And this Hahnville defense really stepping up when they need to. They know their offense isn't that great passing the ball. They're really more of a running team, but this defense really steps up every game, plays their heart out, played their heart out in all the losses last year, just did not stop playing, and they really want some redemption for that 49-point whooping that they got last year here.
I was going to mention prior to the play, at the end of the game, you got the MVPs and who are the contenders. Well, I think the question's already been answered as to one of the contenders. It's got to be Jamonte Williams. He's got a fumble recovery, and he's got a pick.
Definitely. He's really balling out there in the secondary, being a great shutdown corner and coming up with a great catch there for the interception.
First down and 10 at the 16-yard line, and a flag in the area where we typically have a delay of game.
8 seconds on the play clock. So I'm not quite sure.
Too many guys on the field? Let's see. And now the official says no, wave it off. Official probably has the same problems I do. An 8 looks like a 0. He's thinking the play clock is down to nothing.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I always wondered why people said the referees need glasses sometimes.
So the flag is waved off. Perrin, pitch back. Preston snuffed out at the 13.
As that was a broken play from Jump Street there, as they really didn't want to know what they were going to do with the ball on that one. The running back wanted it, Perrin wanted it, he pitched it out late. They really need to clean up that miscommunications on that one.
Loss of 3 brings up a second down, 13. 7:06 to play in the half and still scoreless. As a matter of fact, nobody has been inside the red zone.
That's probably the most surprising fact. I thought for sure Destrehan would at least have a couple of chances in there thus far. And I thought at least Hahnville would get a couple of chances in there themselves. They're not too shabby there on offense, but they really look out of sync thus far.
Third down, 13, pass incomplete, intended for Singleton. And now Perrin in an obvious passing situation deep inside his own territory, or do you try to give yourself a little breathing room?
Well, knowing the Tigers, there's really nothing obvious about their tendencies on offense. They'll pass the ball in 3rd and 14. They might run the ball 3rd and 14 and gain 15 yards to get the first down. You really don't know out of them, and especially with this new offense, it's going to be really difficult to see how they draw this one up.
Perrin with a fake pitch to Preston, and then the whistle stops play. And let's see if it is illegal procedure. Preston may have taken a step prior to the snap, and apparently he did.
A fact I really wasn't anticipating was this 12th man at Destrehan. They are really rocking this year, as last year was on the road, so not many students came out, but this year they are really trying to get their team a little bit of a boost here at home.
Well, and they handed out prior to the game those inflatable little clappers, and
yeah, they go all out. They cut up confetti. They have the clappers. I mean, this Destrehan fan base is really one of the best ones in all of high school sports, and along with the Hahnville side across, I'm surprised they filled it out this year. They were really last year I didn't know how many people would show up for this game after the game last year.
Perrin over to the sidelines and just avoided any form of a sack on the incomplete pass that I think hit one of the reserves over on the far sidelines. Incomplete, 4th down and a punting situation. John Williams walks onto the field, and Destrehan should get great field position out of this, but now I'm not so convinced that great field position means much.
Well, Perrin's got plenty of time to pass the ball out of the pocket when he rolls us out. He has plenty of time to look for wide receivers. They're just not open. They're not getting open. They're not coming back for the ball. They just kind of give up on the route if it's not there. So they really need to get their passing game fixed. And as you said, the field position hasn't been that good. If it's great, they haven't really scored, and it's been bad, they haven't done much with it either.
Williams at the 30, 25. And he will be brought to the turf at the 16. Finally, Jamonte Williams caught him. But now this is excellent field position, obviously.
And finally, a team in the red zone, as that is the place where you want to be most of the time in football, as just a great punt back, as he just explodes through, blows by a couple Hahnville defenders, avoids the tackle at first, but number 20 able to get him down finally. Now I would be really surprised if they don't at least come away with at least 3 points here.
Especially with the line of scrimmage being the Tigers' 16th. It is Darrensburg with the football. He and Matthews doing a little Perrin-Drew routine. You know, earlier Drew Dunn wanted it. Perrin wanted to take it out of his gut. Here, Darrensburg and Matthews seem to be fighting over the football.
Obviously a first-year starter in Darrensburg. Still working out the kinks there on the offensive line. Will Matthews used to getting the ball on that play.
Gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Darrensburg again. Tripped up, falls forward to the 10, picks up another 3. And it is 3rd and 3.
As the Hahnville defense trying to hold them here on 3rd down. As hopefully they'll try to hold them to 3, because if they pick up this first down, it's almost guaranteed that Will Matthews will get the ball inside the 5-yard line and score.
A definitive 4-down territory, or do you consider bringing the field goal unit on if you don't make it here?
Well, the way the Destrehan defense has been playing, I think they can go for 3 and hope that their defense goes and gets another 3 and out like they've done thus far.
Tigers want to talk again, and if Scoreboard is accurate. That's 3 that the Tigers have used up. No more to use in the 5:28 of the first half. We'll take a timeout too. Great American Rivalry Series in Destrehan. And all the coverage brought to you by the United States Marines.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans, but the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
The Great American Rivalry Series looking for the fan photo of the game. And tonight's matchup, send your most spirited pictures to the American Rivalry on Twitter or to Instagram using the hashtag Great American Rivalry. 3rd down, 3. Handoff goes to Matthews inside the 10. He's inside the 9, and he will be stopped short of a first. Decision time for Destrehan.
I'm really surprised Will Matthews couldn't pick up the first down on that one. Had plenty of running room there around the corner, but that Hahnville defense just really swarmed him down. Able to hold him short.
Field goal or try for the first? Obviously looks like the field goal unit is trotting onto the field, but which do you prefer at this juncture? Just get points?
In the first half, the defense has been playing well. 3 points, I think, will serve them in the long run. Hahnville's kicking game hasn't been the best out of the field goal unit thus far, so it might come down to this field goal or not.
Randy Harvey trying to make it a 3-0 ball game. The kick is up, and the kick is good. It comes from 26 yards out, and it's got 3 on the board. Destrehan gets a Harvey field goal to go on top with 4:36 to play in the first half. We're back with more football from Louisiana. The Great American Rivalry Series is brought to you by the United States Marines.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Bobbled on the ground, fight to get it at the 33-yard line. Do the Wildcats have it back, or are the Tigers able to maintain possession? Devontae Craven stepped up and took a wallop, trying to field the kick, but apparently Tigers are going to get it back. That could have been major disaster for Hahnville.
As they avoid a huge turnover there, would have given Destrehan fresh off the field goal more momentum, as they were really driving the ball their last drive.
By the way, Leah Little is down on the sidelines, and at the end of the first half, we think she's going to be able to lasso Ed Reed and have a brief conversation with a guy that will be inducted into the Great American Rivalry Series Hall of Fame at the half.
As he's one of the best NFL players coming out of this Destrehan Wildcats team. Former Super Bowl champion. I mean, you can't do much better in the NFL.
Yeah, I got a feeling he's going to be in a number of Hall of Fames before it's all done and over with.
Most definitely with his track record.
Craven out to the 35, gain of 2.
As Hahnville still struggling to get that running game going here early. I mean, they just haven't really gotten that going. Craven hasn't been great. The offensive line play hasn't really created holes for them to run through. And Perrin just not the best mobile quarterback, trying to throw the ball deep down the field. All the chances he's gotten so far.
If you're Hahnville, obviously you want to get points on the board, but is it too about getting time off the clock? And if you don't put points on the board, go into the locker room down by no more than a field goal?
Yeah, I think definitely Hahnville wants to just go down by 3 points, if not the lead, if they can sustain a very long drive here. But I think a win for Hahnville would just be going into halftime down 3.
Gain of 4 brings up a 3rd down and 4. Football at the 39. 3 minutes, 31 seconds left to play. Half number 1. And that play clock will certainly trickle down into single digits. Hahnville in no hurry. Preston in motion. Hand off to Dunn. Dunn was popped immediately. When you saw him bounce backwards on the opening pop, you knew he probably wasn't going to get much. He gets a yard. It's 4th and 3.
Yeah, well, when a defensive lineman hits you before you even get to the offensive line of scrimmage, that's a pretty bad busted play there. The offensive line play hasn't been great for Hahnville the past couple of years, and as you can see tonight, unable to move the ball very well running the ball.
John Williams, who set up the field goal, in essence, with an excellent punt return, is back to return again the kick of Austin Perrin as Williams stands at his 16. And Perrin, a spiraling kick that is fielded to the 15 by Williams. Backs, pedals, and then spins his way near the 30, and 70 yards from Paynter is Destrehan.
That's another great punt return there. Didn't fumble the ball. Major concern when you're a dude back there returning punts, but able to hold down and get Destrehan great field position there at the 30-yard line.
We won't say Hahnville's offense did their part. They went 3 and out, but they did run time off the clock. Now it's turned over to the Hahnville defense. Hold this Destrehan offense.
And I think they can if they get them down. If they keep them on Hahnville's side of the ball, on their side of the field, the Hahnville defense will really handle their business. It's just that when they get in the red zone, it's going to be really tough for them to match up wise with these speedy Destrehan players like Alfred Smith right here on the sweep play.
And Smith will pick up 3. Maybe a bit, if you're going on a play-by-play basis, maybe a bit of a victory for Hahnville in that you run time off the clock. You only allow 4 on the Smith carry.
Definitely, that run takes up a lot of time off the clock. They have to reset. And Hahnville has really got to hold their own here to go into halftime just down by 3.
Fake to Matthews, Derensburg near the 40. He should be about a yard shy of the first.
This defense has really shown they're up to the task of stopping Derensburg on those little quick sneaks up the middle.
Surprised we haven't seen more passing, especially on this particular drive?
Especially out of Destrehan. I thought for sure they'd go 3 wide and just try to go with their wide receivers. As you see Matthews there gets another big run. But really when you have Tremaine Armstrong, Kirk Merritt, and Alfred Smith on the outside, all 3 speed demons, I mean, I thought for sure Destrehan would be passing the ball almost every other play.
Matthews knocked down at midfield, and then Peyton Roberts kind of lays on him a little bit, going, you know, if I sit here for a while, we can run a little more time off the clock. Got 2 or 3 off the sit on Matthews.
Oh, definitely. The unwritten rules of running clock in football.
Derensborg to pass, and it is complete. Alfred Smith makes the grab of the 45, gain of 6.
But Smith unable to get out of bounds as he slipped and fell, so time still winding off that clock, under 50 seconds here.
Harvey, a 26-yard field goal, and thus far, that has been it in this one. Derensburg to pass. And he will throw it to where nobody is. That is a smart sophomore move. Instead of trying to make something out of nothing, he avoids a huge loss and just gets rid of it.
Yeah, definitely. We saw Perrin on that earlier fumble try to make something out of nothing. But Derensburg make a great play, throw it out of bounds, play to live another down.
3rd down, 4, football on the 44. There has been one trip inside the red zone. There's been one field goal to show. Otherwise, nothing. Big play here. Darrensburg got time, steps up into the pocket, takes off, has the first. Makes his way across the 35 to the 34.
Great play there by Darrensburg. Saw that he had nothing down the field. Decided to take it on himself, stepped up, looked down the field once again. When there was still nothing, he kept it, got 10, 15 yards on the play, and set up another first down for the Wildcats.
Wildcats have one timeout now left after they call their second one of the half with 24 seconds remaining. It is first down and 10 at the 34. Talk about play selection. What do you do here? You can't really afford to run it anymore with one timeout left. You got to go downfield with the pass.
Yeah, definitely. When you have three wide receivers on the outside that each one of them is a playmaker for your offense, you got to really throw the ball down the field. Quick passes, though. Quick passes to the outside, try to get a little bit more field position. Not really a do or die throw for the end zone right now with 24 seconds and a timeout left. I think they at least get 3 pass plays out of this, try to get it to the sideline. And if they can't get out to the sideline, you better hurry up and call that timeout.
Obviously you want 6, but are you working for the 6 or working to accept the 3?
Oh, definitely. If I know Coach Stephen Robichaux, he's working for that 6 points, but he'll be happy with the 3 if he can take it, especially when you get the ball to start the third quarter.
Darrensburg, pass over to Smith, and Smith's got nothing. Picked up 3, and that was all Smith.
Yeah, I don't know how smart of a decision that was. He did get 3 yards out the play, but the clock's still winding as I think Destrehan just took their last time out.
You ate 9 seconds off the clock and picked up 3 yards.
Obviously, that was Smith's bread and butter last year, make people miss, but just too many people to overcome. That Hahnville defense was swarming around the football as they've done throughout much of the first half, and it was just, he did get the 3 yards, but how much does that help you in the long run?
Second down 7, football inside the 31. No TDs in the first, 23 and a half minutes. We've still got 15 seconds showing on the first half clock, so there's a possibility of 6, but it's looking less likely with each play.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that Destrehan's defense isn't more in sync thus far. They're 4-0. They've blown out every single one of their opponents. Obviously, they didn't expect to blow out Hahnville. They knew Hahnville was going to be a much tougher task, being that it's their inter-parish rival. But I'm just really surprised that they haven't opened up the passing game a little bit more.
Rival games, though, you can toss out records. Second down 7 from near the 30-yard line. Darrensburg's got a receiver open, did not spot Smith, but instead able to find Kirk Merritt, and Merritt may have stayed in at the 26.
Yeah, I think he did stay in bounds, and that'll be the end of the first half.
And you got Matthews saying, please give me a timeout, and the official pats him on the helmet and says, sorry, Will, you don't have any. First half over, 24 minutes of football, and what a half. 3-zip score, and Harvey with a 26-yard field goal is all that we've got. And as a result, it has been a relatively quickly expiring first half. As a matter of fact, you've got a total of about an hour. And that hour has been real time, and it's been 24 minutes of football. Well, down on the sidelines, the Hall of Fame inductees will be placed in. One of which is from Hahnville High School. The other is a guy right there that you can see in the bottom right corner of your screen. And he's a gentleman that not only has the longest return of an interception for a touchdown, he's got the second longest return of an interception for a touchdown. And of course, that is Ed Reed, former Baltimore Raven great.
Definitely one of my favorite players to watch for the Baltimore Ravens. Him and Ray Lewis just ran roughshod over the league for the time that they were together there in Baltimore, winning a Super Bowl together in their last years.
Got a feeling when they recognize that gentleman right there, there will be a resounding applause. He is being presented with this Hall of Fame award by Sergeant Panada. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, another guy that had a tremendous rivalry matchup, that being Kane Rogers. Marine Gunnery Sergeant Morgan is by the side of Rogers. Rogers played in the rivalry with Destrehan all 4 years. He was at Hahnville. He was one of the most versatile players ever for the Tigers, playing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and kicker. A member of the '97 team that defeated Destrehan 41-7 and went on to lead the Tigers as their quarterback in the state playoffs. Cade later returned to his alma mater as baseball and football coach. And then, of course, that guy right there, Edward Reed Jr., played all 4 years in the rivalry with Hahnville as a defensive back, finally getting the win his senior year, which he is proud of today. Went on to become a star at the University of Miami, winning a national championship there, drafted in the first round of the NFL by the Ravens, named the NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2004, 9 times a Pro Bowler, 8 times All-Pro. Still holds all kinds of records. We were talking about those earlier. He's the guy that, too, likes to give back to the community. Founded the Eye of the Hurricane Foundation, which has provided thousands of young people the opportunity to better themselves. And in 2012, he achieved the height of his professional career, becoming a Super Bowl champion. So he's won this series. He's won a national championship with the Miami Hurricanes collegiately, and he has won a Super Bowl as a member of the Baltimore Ravens.
Definitely a true winner in the sense of the word. Just won everywhere he was at, winning in charity, winning on the field, and one of the better people.
And a couple of guys recognized as inductees.
Obviously no bad blood between them, though. Fisticuffs broke out there at midfield, even though they're Hahnville and Destrehan.
We're going to see if we can get Leah to grab Ed Reed for just a moment as he walks towards the sidelines before we send it to a break. What a first half we have had, a 3-0 advantage here at the half. Ed Reed said he wasn't going to retire, but not playing this year, so he may be kind of a forced retirement, but go ahead, sit out 5 years, and we'll watch him appear in Canton and get that bust placed into the NFL Football Hall of Fame.
And he definitely truly deserves one there up in Canton.
United States Marines making tonight's coverage possible. Again, we don't want to break until looks like Leah's going to have an opportunity to talk with Ed Reed. So while they're getting all the equipment checked out, we'll get all of ours in place as well before taking the break. And Ed Reed, they're pleased with Ed Reed in his high school, his collegiate, his professional career as well here. And he's been recognized.
Hey, we're ready.
And we're ready. Leah, take it away.
Well, Ed, what a great night for you. You know, you've had an illustrious career, both at college and the NFL. What does it mean to you to come back home here tonight where it all started?
Oh, this is awesome. You know, Friday night football, you know, when football is at its purest form, you get to see these kids out here, you know, giving their hearts out, having fun, enjoying it, you know, and the crowd and the fans. I mean, this brings me back, you know. It really puts that feeling in me, but, you know, it makes me realize, you know, all the work that I've done, you know, all the work that we did here, you know, and what it really comes back to. You know, this is what it's about.
Well, speaking of that, you know, tell us a little bit about your foundation, the Eye of the Hurricane, the Ed Reed Foundation. Tell me what you're doing with that.
I mean, we started it in Baltimore, and we do football camps, which we really say fitness camps because we work on all sports, and we do life skills at the camp. We've been doing that for the last 10 years in Baltimore and here at Destrehan, and the golf tournament also to raise the money and just to have a good time and bring awareness to family environments, because that's what it's all about. We've been giving a scholarship away here at Destrehan for probably a decade now as well, and it's really to help kids that don't have the resources or need the resources or need that extra little push, you know, to get ahead in life. And I mean, we do a lot of things with charter schools and schools up north. In Baltimore, we're trying to get a seed school here in New Orleans. So it's a lot of work that we're trying to do. We're trying to build a park also in St. Rose and make sure that our kids have parks here in St. Charles Parish, you know, just to have something to do. You know, it's what I've found over all my years is that kids don't have the resources to get ahead, you know, and I was one of those kids that got the resources. Somebody came to me, you know, Mr. Parkett, Miss Hall, and gave me that extra little push from around here, you know, to help me get ahead in life.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you and honor you tonight, but tell the fans how they can get involved and help your foundation.
It's edreedfoundation.org, and you can just log on to the website, reach out to Glenn Eunice, email them in any way. We welcome any help, whether it's donating your time or your money. You know, we take it all, and we definitely doing something positive with it.
Well, fantastic. Ed, Ralph, back to you with a great NFL player here who's giving back to the community. We're just excited that he's here with us tonight, back where it all started. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Leah. And what a sensational player at all levels, prep, collegiately, NFL as well. And the Great American Rivalry Series honored to recognize Cade and Ed as inductees into the Hall of Fame. We are back with more halftime. 3-zip, Destrehan leads it. Let's take a timeout. The Great American Rivalry Series matchup is brought to you by the United States Marines.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans. But the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
There's no need to worry about how you're going to pay for college anymore. The iHelp loan program enables students to fill their needs when financing their education. If you need to borrow money for college, as most Americans do, SLFC and the iHelp loan program may be your best option. The loan features the most competitive rate available and is offered through your local ICBA bank with the help of SLFC, the student loan company thousands have trusted to help them pay for college. Go to slfc.com and explore all your options now.
Whew, you have to be crazy to go outside in this heat, like Harry. I saw him leaving this morning with that new water thing of his. It's like a snowmobile that floats. Doesn't he worry about being swept out to sea? Or sharks? You're gonna eat that thing all over yourself.
Some people want more out of life, and we insure the things that make more possible. Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com.
Let's go out! Let's do it! And we are great!
What a storied history this rivalry has.
Today we expect these two teams to fight head-to-head.
Big rivalry game gives now to Hughes. Hughes, and he is going to get in! Touchdown!
One of the top 25 high school rivalry games in the country.
It's awesome. The fans just go crazy.
Being broadcast across the globe to the Marines and our military personnel worldwide. Looks for a block. He's free. Touchdown!
The thing about rivalries is, it doesn't matter what kind of season you're having. You win this game, it's a big season, it's a big win.
Welcome to the 2014 Great American Rivalry Series, presented by the United States Marines, AT&T, and Safeco Insurance on the Rivalry Series Broadcast Network. Next up, we'll head to New Jersey for some Big North Conference United Division play when Bergen Catholic faces St. Joseph Regional for the 45th time in a Saturday afternoon matchup. Two of New Jersey's top programs, the Bergen Catholic Crusaders, have 16 state titles and are looking to prove they are truly one of the elite non-public programs in the area, coming off a 2-7 season in 2013. They have been focused on improving their defense since this year's loss to St. Peter's Prep. Key defensive players include Kyle Cook and Connor O'Brien. The Crusaders also possess one of the region's most highly prized quarterbacks, Jarrett Guarantano, a national-level recruit. Look for them to utilize a group of sure-handed receivers, complemented by the hard-nosed running of halfback Corey Russo. Ranked number 1 in New Jersey in 2012, the Green Knights will be a tough matchup. Coach Hoffman of St. Joe Regional is focused on tightening up the details this season, while quarterback Jack Walsh says the focus has to be discipline. The Green Knights have won the last 3 state titles and have won 11 championships since 2000. In the last 9 years, no less than 7 players from these teams have joined the ranks of the NFL. Check out the live game broadcast online at greatamericanrivalry.com on Saturday, October 18th at 12:30 p.m. And be sure to join the Rivalry Series Twitter stream using hashtag American Rivalry.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back. It is halftime. Destrehan with a 3-0 advantage over Hahnville, the Great American Rivalry Series. Delighted to be here in Destrehan, Louisiana. And it's all brought to you by these guys, the United States Marines. And we are thankful in so many different ways for what the Marines do. And really, I guess, to be perfectly honest, the least of which is this. You do so many other things for we as Americans, protecting us in other parts of the country. For you personally, Staff Sergeant Pineda, where did you decide that the United States Marines was the right path for you to take?
Thank you for the compliment. Also, for me, the main reason why I joined is because I always wanted to serve. I always wanted to do more. I thought that this great nation of ours needs people to actually sit there and, willing to do the things that we need to do to protect our country. So that was the main reason. I like the camaraderie, the togetherness, the brotherhood, so to speak, that we have is the main drawing parts for me to join.
How'd you wind up in Louisiana?
That's what happened was I got stationed over here in Algiers, and I ended up marrying a Louisiana girl. So now, once you marry somebody from Louisiana, from Metairie, the area that I'm at, you don't leave. So that's kind of what I've been doing, trying to stay in the area and stuff, because I've kind of come accustomed to it.
What is the original home? Where's your native part of the country?
Right. I grew up in New Jersey. It's called Madison, New Jersey. It's a small town. Beautiful place. Cold weather, dark night, so this is a little bit different. So I'm getting used to the military's done some great things to prepare me, mentally, and that way I can get accustomed to any situation I'm in. But it's becoming home here. I'm getting used to it.
Tell me what it's like for you personally to put on the uniform every day, the medals. Because when you put on a uniform, you're not just representing you. You're representing the United States of America, so that's got to be something special.
Yes, it's a great honor because it's something that should be done with pride. We take great pride in it. That's why we are pretty meticulous when our uniform is. Got to make sure my family, friends, and everything, they kind of get on me because they're like, you always check your uniform, making sure. But it's because, like you said, it represents something greater than ourselves. So we have to make sure we uphold that legacies.
Got to ask you, what about the rivalry, the game that's in suspended animation here at halftime, but it's been a heck of a first half. What did you think about it?
Those boys can play down there. I actually was talking to Ed Reed a little bit earlier, and we were saying when we were younger, we didn't have those type of things. All this Great American Rivalry thing, I think it's a great thing. It's to get out there, get these young individuals noticed, and it's awesome. I wish we had something like that, but I'm glad that they have it, and I hope they appreciate what it's like because, 10, 15 years down the road, that's something that's going to make an impact in their life, something they can talk to their children about,
Well, again, thank you very much, the United States Marines, for making coverage possible tonight. All the activities going on here, but even more so, thank you for what you do for our country.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Staff Sergeant Pineda is with us here at the half. We are back with more from Destrehan after we take a break. Yes, indeed, our coverage is brought to you by the United States Marines.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
There's no need to worry about how you're going to pay for college anymore. The I Help Loan Program enables students to fill their needs when financing their education. If you need to borrow money for college, as most Americans do, SLFC and the I Help Loan Program may be your best option. The loan features the most competitive rate available and is offered through your local ICBA bank with the help of SLFC, the student loan company thousands have trusted to help them pay for college. Go to slfc.com and explore all your options now.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans. But the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
Whew, you have to be crazy to go outside in this heat, like Harry. I saw him leaving this morning with that new water thing of his. It's like a snowmobile that floats. Doesn't he worry about being swept out to sea? Or sharks? You're gonna eat that thing all over yourself.
Some people want more out of life, and we insure the things that make more possible. Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com.
Let's go out! Let's show them that we are great!
What a storied history this rivalry has.
Today we expect these two teams to fight head-to-head. Big rivalry game gives now to Hughes. Hughes, and he is going to get in! Touchdown!
One of the top 25 high school rivalry games in the country.
It's awesome. The fans just go crazy.
Being broadcast across the globe to the Marines and our military personnel worldwide. Looks for a block. He's free. Touchdown!
The thing about rivalries is, it doesn't matter what kind of season you're having. You win this game, it's a big season, it's a big win.
Welcome to the 2014 Great American Rivalry Series, presented by the United States Marines, AT&T, and Safeco Insurance on the Rivalry Series Broadcast Network. Next up, we'll head to New Jersey for some Big North Conference United Division play when Bergen Catholic faces St. Joseph Regional for the 45th time in a Saturday afternoon matchup. Two of New Jersey's top programs, the Bergen Catholic Crusaders, have 16 state titles and are looking to prove they are truly one of the elite non-public programs in the area, coming off a 2-7 season in 2013. They have been focused on improving their defense since this year's loss to St. Peter's Prep. Key defensive players include Kyle Cook and Connor O'Brien. The Crusaders also possess one of the region's most highly prized quarterbacks, Jarrett Guarantano, a national-level recruit. Look for them to utilize a group of sure-handed receivers, complemented by the hard-nosed running of halfback Corey Russo. Ranked #1 in New Jersey in 2012, the Green Knights will be a tough matchup. Coach Hoffman of St. Joe Regional is focused on tightening up the details this season, while quarterback Jack Walsh says the focus has to be discipline. The Green Knights have won the last 3 state titles and have won 11 championships since 2000. In the last 9 years, no less than 7 players from these teams have joined the ranks of the NFL. Check out the live game broadcast online at greatamericanrivalry.com on Saturday, October 18th at 12:30 p.m. And be sure to join the Rivalry Series Twitter stream using #AmericanRivalry.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans. But the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
There is a look at just a portion of the people watching football at Wildcat Stadium here in Destrehan, Louisiana. The house is full, and the one thing that a 3-0 score does is nobody gives up their seat. Everybody stays, and it's got us scratching our heads because we did not expect a 3-zip halftime score.
Oh, definitely. If you told any Hahnville or Destrehan fan that it's going to be 3-0 at halftime, they would say that you're crazy because these teams should not be 3-0 at halftime right now. The defenses are playing amazing on both sides of the field.
And, of course, you've had the play of Jamonte Williams, who recovers a fumble that Will Matthews couldn't hang on to, and then he intercepts a pass that Marquise Derensburg was off target with. So if you are the Tigers and if you're handing out halftime accolades, you got to hand something to Jamonte Williams.
Yeah, definitely. He's been a real X factor there on the defense for the Tigers. Wasn't expecting much great play out of the cornerbacks tonight. Usually I thought it was going to be more of their defensive line making tackles in the backfield, but they've really surprised me in that secondary of Hahnville.
So we know what the Tigers have got to do in the second half. They've got to do more in the second half of what they did in the first half. What about on the other side of the football? Destrehan, what have they got to do? And it feels like, despite the fact they've got the lead, it doesn't feel like a lead.
Destrehan really just has to open up that passing game. They have too good of wide receivers to only get 5-10-yard passes. They really got to stretch the ball down the field and just give Derensburg a little bit of time. Give him some confidence. Give him some easy throws and just throw a couple down the field. I know the Hahnville secondary has been playing good, but they will not be able to sustain that for the next 24 minutes of play. I think that Destrehan's key is they really got to open up that passing game because Will Matthews hasn't done much thus far in the running game.
1 year ago, 49-zip the final score. I'm not much in the prognosticating department, but I'm thinking 49-zip ain't going to happen here in Destrehan tonight.
Well, I'm pretty sure Destrehan scored 35 last year, so I think you'd be right on there in the first half. So I'm pretty sure this will come down to the wire, and I really hope that it doesn't come down to the leg of a Hahnville kicker because they are really having some problems in the field goal unit department thus far.
Both teams, and I guess we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but where both teams are concerned, if the game in the second half is similar to the first half, do they both have something they can take from this game to work and build upon for the remainder of the season?
I think for the Wildcats, it's got to be their defensive play. They're not really known for a great defensive team. Usually they get up big, and the defense can really just play it back a little bit and just hold them to a few yards here and there. But their defense has really stepped up here in a close game. And for the Hahnville Tigers, it's the same thing. It's the defensive play. They've just gone out there, balled hard out there. The defense has just really stepped up on the lines, in the secondary, and especially forcing a couple turnovers doesn't quite hurt them at all.
It is halftime, and second half action is not far away. Tigers and Wildcats back onto the turf. We'll get to the second half after we take a break. The Great American Rivalry Series is in Louisiana, and it's all brought to you by the United States Marines.
You have to be crazy to go outside in this heat, like Harry. I saw him leaving this morning with that new water thing of his. It's like a snowmobile that floats. Doesn't he worry about being swept out to sea? Or sharks? You're gonna eat that thing all over yourself.
Some people want more out of life, and we insure the things that make more possible. Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans, but the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
3-zip halftime score. It is Destrehan with a field goal lead. Harvey with a 26-yarder, and that has been it. One trip into the red zone, nothing more. And here we are getting ready to start the third quarter of football, and it is still a 3-0 ball game. We were questioning at the beginning of the ball game after the coin toss, and Destrehan winning the toss, opting to defer. At the time we thought, is that the right decision? Maybe it was, because they will get the football to begin the second half.
Yeah, especially with a 3-point lead, possibly get that up to 10 here. And it might be tough for Hahnville to come back with the way the Destrehan defense has played this far. And I know one fan in particular is enjoying this defensive battle, and that was Ed Reed that got the award at halftime. He's really enjoying this defensive performance out of both teams thus far.
So you're thinking this opening drive of the second half is key?
Yeah, definitely. I think Destrehan really has to get some momentum going on the offensive side, because they've really just got beaten up by this Hahnville front line. And if they don't come away with some points here, it might be tough for them to win this football game.
Aaron Bourgeois has it teed up at the 40. And we've got the second half underway. Fair catch called for and made over on the far sidelines.
And that's another key to this game, was the kickoff duties for both teams. They both had to replace senior players. And obviously you saw there with that short kick out of Bourgeois.
Karen Taylor making the grab. I'm a little surprised. And I guess we've had a little surprises often in the game. Taylor did not try to return it immediately. When he saw the high pooch, decided to call for the fair catch.
Well, definitely not trying to fumble there, and probably not used to running with the ball, but took the safe route, got the fair catch, gave his offense a great field position there at the 27.
Opening drive of the second half, and it starts at the 27-yard line. Matthews, he's got the first, and he's hammered out of bounds across the 40.
Yeah, the Wildcats going. I think they're going to try to heavy run it with Matthews, try to wear down that front line of the Tigers, but I really just think their passing game will open up those running lanes that Will Matthews will definitely need in the third and fourth quarters.
13-yard pickup out across the 40 to the 43-yard line, where it is first down and 10. Merritt, same side, and a little better results. Slipping away from Tigers. 20, inside the 10, touchdown Merritt.
Great play there by Merritt. He did that all of last year, making plays out of nothing, avoiding the tacklers there on the sideline. Kept his feet in bounds, which he's a master at. He had a punt return for touchdown last year, and he does a great job tiptoeing the sideline, able to make a couple moves and go in. And as I said, Destrehan get the 10-point lead now.
57-yard run from Kirk Merritt. A 9-zip lead, and if the opening drive indeed is key in the second half, and then the most momentum shift is definitely in the direction of Destrehan as the extra point try is good, and the Wildcats lead it by 10. We're in Louisiana. It's the Great American Rivalry Series, and it's all compliments of the United States Marines.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Kirk Merritt, 57 yards to pay dirt. Harvey with the extra point kick. And it is Destrehan on top by a 10-0 margin, and we are just a few seconds into the second half.
Yeah, Destrehan with a great momentum swing there. And if you thought the 12th man was hard to deal with in that first half, now given that 56-yard run by Merritt, it's really going to be raucous on this next drive for the Tigers.
Over towards Craven, and Craven does the same as his Taylor counterpart. Calls for the fair catch, makes the grab around the 30-yard line, and that's where the Tigers will start their first drive of the third quarter. So yes, the opening drive of the first half of the Wildcats key. That means this one is very much so for Hahnville.
And even more important because they haven't gotten on the board yet. So they were shut out in the first half. They really do not want to go 3 and out on this drive because that will just kill any chance of they have, I think, in this matchup of coming back, because this crowd for the Destrehan Wildcats is going to let them hear it if they go 3 and out on this drive.
Line of scrimmage, the 30. 37 seconds into the second half. And the Wildcats are on the board. Preston in motion, Perrin to pass. Got a guy open over the middle, pass is incomplete. Whalen LeBlanc was there, but Perrin just a little too strong with the toss.
Yeah, just barely overthrows his wide receiver there. Into triple cover, but able to get it over everybody, even his own player, just unable to hook up with his wide receiver Whalen on the pass.
Had him open, couldn't get him, and it is 2nd down and 10. The element of surprise possibly to begin the second half?
Definitely. I wasn't really expecting a downfield pass, especially out of this Hahnville quarterback and receiving core.
Dunn fights his way for 2.
As Dunn and Craven, I think they've really run the ball hard up the middle, but haven't gotten much to show for it thus far. As you just saw Will Matthews and Kirk Merritt, they went to the outside, able to get around the corner. I don't think Hahnville has that type of talent to get around the corner against this Destrehan defense. It's going to be really tough for them, running the ball straight up the middle for the next 2 quarters.
Tonight's contest between Destrehan and Hahnville being featured as one of the Great American Rivalry Series games, broadcast on the internet at greatamericanrivalry.com across the nation and around the world. It's part of the Rivalry Series broadcast network presented by the United States Marine. Perrin, pass is complete. Singleton's got it. He had enough for the first, but then continued with his momentum going back towards the line of scrimmage. It will depend on the spot. And now you got Wildcats going, wait a minute, Blue, I'm kind of thinking the 39's the right spot, but the official's saying the 42.
Yep, got to love that forward progress if you're an offensive player on that one.
Your officiating crew, the referee is Paul LaRosa, umpire Russell Boudreau, Tim Duncan is the head linesman, line judge Scott Center. It is back judge Jay Palenstina, side judge Chris Forquet. Carlos Avrod is the field judge as Perrin has got a receiver wide open. Down the sidelines, busting his way inside the 20, near the 15-yard line goes Devontae Clark.
And just a great play call there from the Tigers. Able to get Perrin some space, able to load up and deliver a perfect pass there to his wide receiver down on the sideline. Really surprised me there was Perrin's arm strength on that play. Really cocked back and threw that one with some enthusiasm. Got it up there, quick to his wide receiver.
There is a flag back at the 46.
And that would really be an emotional killer for the Tigers if this one gets called back.
And it's coming back. Ineligible receiver downfield.
Play probably just took a little bit too long to develop. The offensive lineman just kept going down the field, and that's a real heartbreaker because that was the first short of life that we've seen out of this Hahnville passing game.
So instead of the 15, where it is 1st down and 10, you are back inside your own territory, and let's see after the penalty yardage is marked off exactly where the Tigers will be. By the way, during the half, there was the Pink Link Project, which I understand raised, better than $12,000. And it was all donated to the American Cancer Society. Links cost $1 each, and there were about 12,000 of them.
Yep, I think that's about the third year in a row they've gotten over $10,000 for breast cancer awareness, and the Satellite Center down here in St. Charles Parish does a great job of putting that on each year with their 2 health science classes. And it was a bit of a competition between Hahnville and Destrehan. Hahnville got the slight edge, winning with 149 more links this year, as Destrehan came away with the victory last year. So Hahnville's coming away with 1 victory here tonight. Let's see if they can get that second one, and more importantly, the football game.
Well, it's very significant too in that it helps others. Their victory is going to help others who are battling cancer, so thank you very much. First down and 10 after the penalty yardage. After it's all sorted out, it's the 49-yard line, the line of scrimmage, but that is a far cry from the 15, where the pass play had the Tigers thinking they were looking at a 1st and 10. Perrin on the option. He will pick up 8 down to about the 40-yard line. It brings up a 2nd and short.
So Hahnville still trying to do what they did much of the first half. A little bit more success here, with probably the Destrehan defense wearing down here as the quarters go on. But Perrin really surprised me out of the quarterback position. He's had a great night, got that pass play taken away, but I hope that doesn't rock his demeanor out there. I think he'll come out and be a little bit more fired up to get the next one.
I think in an Austin Perrin, we are seeing a quarterback who is maturing right before our very eyes. Made some, I guess, youth mistakes early in the ball game, but he's certainly matured in the 2 quarters since. Hand off up the middle, little gain for Bradley Oquan. I'm giving you all the Cajun names. I'll take the Southern ones.
All right, that'll work with me.
You know the one, the offensive lineman? I've skipped it, by the way.
Melanson.
Yeah, him.
You just got to have fun with it, man. Got to have fun. The names down here are a little bit special on. No matter where you are down in Louisiana, the names are always special.
Right about the 40-yard line. Now, wait a minute. They put it down near the 38. I guess that pile carried Perrin to right about 10 yards. As a matter of fact, so close they got to bring the sticks on. Packed house stays full. And if you can get Hahnville on the board here in the 3rd, crowd's going nowhere.
Yeah, definitely. I think this one's going to be one where you have to gut it out through all 4 quarters. Last year, they had a lot of Hahnville fans leaving after the 3rd quarter, but I don't think any of those fans out there on the other side of the field are going to be leaving anytime soon.
Just enough for the 1st.
And I think that's a huge momentum swing as they were able to power run. The offensive line did their job pushing the pile forward, getting the 1st down, and the Hahnville Tigers really putting together a good drive here. Got that 1 pass play called back, but they've really looked in sync coming out here in the 3rd quarter.
Talked about the Marines making coverage possible. Want to give a special welcome to all the servicemen and women around the world who are listening to this broadcast. We appreciate all you do, and hope you are indeed enjoying this game between Destrehan and Hahnville. Perrin drops back, lobs one towards the end zone, in and out of the hands of Singleton.
And that was a great pass by Perrin. Gets it over the corner defending, and just Singleton not able to hold it in. Great coverage provided by the Destrehan Wildcats.
Love to see the replay on that one, because it looked as if Perrin had put it right into the midst of Singleton, and Singleton just couldn't hang on.
Well, one of the worst things in football, the worst place that your wide receiver is, usually the hands.
2nd down and 10, football at the 38. 8:39 left to play in the 3rd. Perrin around the end, then cuts it back up the middle and busts his way inside the 30 near the 28. He will be close to another Tiger 1st.
And Perrin definitely a trooper. Every single time that he rushes the ball, he gets tattooed by at least a couple Wildcat defenders, and that's been the whole first half, including a couple plays this quarter. So he's a real trooper down there. Just gets up, dusts himself off, and he's ready for the next play.
Another 1st down. Sticks move down to the 28-yard line. Into the game, the MVP handed out. Compliments of the Great American Rivalry Series. Got a lot of contenders now, and you got to start putting Austin Perrin's name into the mix based on this drive alone.
Definitely. If he can get the Tigers into the end zone here, he's got a definite chance of winning the MVP.
And now Perrin wants a timeout.
Obviously, play clock winding down, did the smart thing, called the timeout, didn't want to take a delay game. So he'll just regroup with Coach Salt down there on the sideline and see what they're going to do on this 1st and 10.
Hahnville blank thus far, but on the move. We are back with more Great American Rivalry Series brought to you by the United States Marines.
Whew, you have to be crazy to go outside in this heat, like Harry. I saw him leaving this morning with that new water thing of his. It's like a snowmobile that floats. Doesn't he worry about being swept out to sea? Or sharks? You're gonna eat that thing all over yourself.
Some people want more out of life, and we insure the things that make more possible. Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com.
After the timeout, 1st down 10. Handoff given up the middle. Spinning, turning his way is Bradley
O'Quinn.
Inside the 20, down to the 18. O'Quinn.
O'Quinn.
All right, can I ask where you get O'Quinn out of A-U-C-O-I-N? I guess Mom and Daddy said.
Yep, just the culture down here. They like to have a lot of fun with their last names. Melanson, O'Quinn. They just really go all out down here. It takes an acquired taste to get used to the last names down here, especially when you go to school here. The substitutes always have a bit of trouble if they're not from the down south.
And off up the middle. Inside the 15, down to the 14-yard line. Got my producer in the ear going, we do need to let Freddie know that Cajun Southern and like Alabama Southern where I'm from or Mississippi Southern where James is from, that's a different Southern.
Yeah, I know. It's just that I'm used to growing up down here, so this is the true down south for me. It might be different for y'all.
2nd down, 8. Football inside the 15 at the 14. Inside, 7 to go in the 3rd. Perrin is hammered back at the 16.
As he was just leveled there in the backfield by Allen Pittman. He just blew up that play from Jump Street as Perrin had no chance after he didn't hand the ball off to his running back.
3rd down long.
Wildcats really trying to make a stand here on 3rd down. Trying to keep the Tigers from getting inside the end zone and probably trying to keep them from getting 3 points anyway.
First trip into the red zone for the Tigers. They are at the 15 of the Wildcats with a 3rd down and 8. Perrin to pass. Nice spin move. Gets out of a definitive sack back at the 20-yard line. I thought Perrin was definitely done with it, the 21-yard line, and he made that spin move to get out of the sack and got down near the 10 where it is 4th and manageable.
I'll tell you one thing. One person that definitely thought that Perrin was dead to rights was that linebacker coming in. But Perrin with a great move there. Didn't know he had that much mobility out of him, but able to at least get it to 4th down and 2. Really tried to dive for the 1st down. Able to get it, as I think they'll be sending the kicking unit out onto the field. And this is where they've had problems all year.
It will be a 27-yard effort. Wildcats have already hit on a 26-yarder. This, if it makes the distance, will travel 27. The hold, the kick, it's no good.
And that's going to give the Destrehan side even more fuel because the Hahnville Tigers have really struggled since losing Craig Ford to the collegiate level this year. And last year they missed a kick that would have tied the game. They had a field goal blocked last week, and here they missed a field goal outright. And they're really going to have to get that kicking situation sorted out if they want to make a long run.
So now you got the Tigers trying to the sidelines, and I'm assuming coach is saying, listen, guys, all right, we didn't get any points out of it, but you proved you can run the football, you can pass the football on the Wildcats, and you can get inside the red zone.
Definitely. I think that drive gave the Hahnville offense much-needed confidence against this Destrehan defense, and I think they'll just grow on that drive, and they'll eventually put one in for 6.
Matthews got running room, got the first, crosses the 30 to the 32.
And that was just a great all-out effort by Will Matthews, staying patient, waiting for his holes and blocks to develop. And the Tigers defense definitely taking a step back here to start the third quarter. Just do not look like they are ready to play against Will Matthews.
I know we're still in the third, but if the Wildcats drive it down the field and score, is it lights out?
Well, the Hahnville offense has really struggled to get close to 20. It would be a 17-point lead. They would have to score in less than a quarter and a little bit of change left. So I think it would be really hard for Hahnville to come back if Destrehan scores right here.
Back-to-back first downs. Matthews previously, Merritt this time out to the 44-yard line. First down and 10.
And what kind of a pep talk did Coach Stephen Robichaux give the Wildcats going into the third quarter? They look like a completely different team to start.
Matthews running over Tigers. He's got another first. That is 3 in a row that have gone for 13 or better.
And that's what you saw out of this game last year. They saw Will Matthews and Kirk Merritt combining for big gains every single time they touch the ball, and that's something we've missed here in the first half, but we definitely got here to start the third quarter.
We have seen now 2 drives from Destrehan, one for the Tigers here in quarter number 3, and with only 5:26 left to play in the third. It's the Wildcats on the prowl again inside Tiger territory at the 41-yard line. Merritt. And another gainer, which will be close to a first.
And the offensive line for the Wildcats really stepping up here in the third quarter, really pushing the defensive lineman for Hahnville off the ball. And the wide receivers on the outside holding their blocks to give the runners a little bit of room to travel there on the sidelines.
9 on that one from Merritt. It has been a alternating kind of a musical chairs between Matthews and Merritt. And this one again back to Matthews.
And that's definitely tough for the defense because you don't know, is it going to be the bruising back up the middle or is it going to be the speedy guy outside? And especially when they line up with both of them in the backfield, it's even tougher for the Tiger defense to decipher who's going to get the ball.
Couple of yards on the Matthews gain. Change move again. At the 30, that means the 20 is a first. It is 1st and 10. And you've got Matthews and Merritt in the backfield. If you keep up the rotation, it's Merritt who will get the football here. They've been alternating the entire drive. Matthews. And he will back to the 25.
It was really evident on that run play that the offensive line for the Wildcats really just pushed the defensive line for Hahnville up the field. It gave Will Matthews a little bit of running room. One defensive line was able to break his block and get the tackle. But if he doesn't break that, I think Will Matthews gets another 5-7 yards on the play.
2nd down 5, football at the 25. Darrensburg fires towards the end zone. There's all kinds of contact. No flags come out, which is a bit of a surprise. Tremaine Armstrong being pushed around a bit.
As the boos rain down here in Destrehan, but you got to think it's a rivalry game. They might as well let them play it out there on the outside, and no flag. Kind of like that the referees kept it in their pocket. Sometimes you see a little chippiness out of the wide receiver and the cornerback, and it's kind of nice that they just held it that time.
3rd and 5 for Darrensburg. Matthews got a yard of the 5 he needed. 4th and 4.
And that pass play is going to show up big now that the Wildcats have been stopped there on that 3rd down play. The Hahnville defense really stepped up on those past few plays to break up the pass and to hold Matthews to a 1-yard gain there.
4th down 4. If you thought about a Harvey field goal, it would be about a 41-yard effort. So instead, Wildcats go for it. Darrensburg, he's got the first and more. Using Merritt as a decoy.
Yeah, that's really, really tough for the defense to pick up. I mean, they've been running with Merritt and Will Matthews the whole time. You just kind of forget that the quarterback's mobile too. So you just see it there. Holds it, waits for the linebacker to pick up the running back on the handoff, and he just takes it himself and gets the first down. Really great job there for Darrensburg. Real veteran move there for the sophomore.
1st down and 10 at the 13-yard line. Williams in motion. Hand off to Matthews. Big hole up the middle. Touchdown Wildcats.
And that'll be probably the easiest touchdown you see score tonight because he was virtually untouched with the hole that the offensive line for the Wildcats provided him with. And that's the Will Matthews of last year that was just gashing defenses up the middle.
2 third-quarter drives and 2 third-quarter touchdowns for the Wildcats. And a 3-0 halftime lead is turned into a 16, and if Harvey has his way, 17-point lead. Kick up, kick good. 17-zip Destrehan. Great American Rivalry Series brought to you by the United States Marines.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans, but the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
Fans, tonight's contest between Destrehan and Hahnville has been designated as a featured game in the nationwide 2014 Great American Rivalry Series. We wish to thank the United States Marines and iHigh Sports for selecting this game as part of this exciting series. Be sure to stick around for the presentation of the Great American Rivalry Series Most Valuable Player Award and Championship Trophy. It will be presented immediately at the conclusion of the game. Kicked out of bounds. And there won't be a re-kick. It'll be the Tigers taking over 1st and 10 at the 35.
And definitely Will Matthews has cemented himself into that race for the MVP of this game.
Most definitely. Maybe you consider John Williams had some punt returns that set up the initial field goal. But yeah, I would say if you're looking at 2 guys currently, they're both on the offensive side, although I think you still got to toss in Javonte Williams defensively for Hahnville. But you got Will Matthews, you've got Austin Perrin, and maybe Javonte Williams as the contenders currently for the game's MVP.
Still a lot left, a lot can change in that MVP race. And Austin Perrin can really become a front runner if he can drive the Tigers down the field like he did last time.
Not much up the middle for Dunn.
So still Hahnville going with that power run, not real confident in their passing game, even though they had a couple almost plays. Really got to try to trot that out a little bit more often. Maybe they can get a couple big chunks of yardage like the Wildcats do on the ground. They might be able to get some of that in the passing game.
Gain of a couple of yards. 2nd down and 8. It has been noisy all night long at Wildcat Stadium. Preston, the guy in motion. Perrin, pitch, running room. And it is out of bounds for Devontae Craven, and that was close to being a late hit.
And that's just a great read option play drawn up by the Hahnville offense. As they had a couple of guys he could have pitched it to, but Perrin made the right decision, pitched it to the deep back, and able to pick up a huge chunk of yards there.
Down to the 43-yard line, 1st down and 10, 2:44 left to play, stands at number 3. 17-zip Destrehan lead. And 14 of the 17 have come here in the 3rd. Tigers have been able to put together sustained drives, just not sustained drives in the 2nd half that results in points.
Yeah, definitely the Wildcats defense is really getting tired during the 3rd quarter. That's evident. Both defenses are getting really tired from their 1st half performances. It could be a completely different ball game if Perrin would have been able to get the Tigers in for 6. If he comes down and gets them in for 6 again, it would only be a 3-point. They'd only be down by 3. Unable to get points on their last drive, now down by 17. And really, Destrehan could start running away with this one very quickly.
Little gain on a 1st down carry, 2nd down 9. 17-point advantage, so if you are the Tigers, you can't take a lot of time in between snaps. Although there's still ample time, but the clock is not too far removed from becoming a Wildcat ally. Dunn wrapped up. And again, it appeared from this vantage point that Perrin and Dunn just can't decide who's going to carry the football.
Dunn basically just wrestled the ball out of his quarterback's hand. I don't know what's going on down there on the field, because I think they're going to sub out Dunn on this play. But really just haven't been in sync on the running game. I think it's Perrin just, he sees that it's going to get bottled up and he just wants to hold on to it and try to make it something for himself, and the running back just wants to try to hit somebody and make a little bit of a play. They just really don't know what they want to do up there on the line.
But it's the quarterback's call.
Yeah, definitely, but I mean, if you're the running back, you want the ball, you want to try to make the difference. Quarterback can't do it all the time as he completes a pass to Singleton there.
Down to the 21.
That's just really what this Hahnville offense has been missing the past few years, is a sustainable passing game. I think if they would have had that a couple years ago, especially last year, they could have made a much better run at the playoffs, but they really need to get that passing game going, because if the Destrehan defense thinking any part of the Hahnville offense is weak, it's that passing game. So if you can try to take advantage of their laid backness on the secondaries, if they're playing laid back, that'll be the point where Hahnville really needs to exploit this defense.
I understand there's 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Obviously, you can come back and win it, but really, for all practical purposes, if you're Hahnville, if you got to score on this drive.
Definitely, you really got to score on this drive for Perrin.
Flushed out of the pocket, nowhere to go. Needs to get rid of it, but cannot. Eats it at the 35.
And that's just a rookie mistake out of the quarterback there. Tried to get a little bit too fancy with it. Tried to do a little bit too many Johnny Manziels down there, trying to avoid pressure. But in the end, you really got to throw that ball away. You cannot take a 15-yard sack like he just did, basically.
Back to the 35, where it is second down, 25. Flags fly with 2 remaining in the quarter. And there's going to be more tacked on to the 15-yard sack, a 5-yard penalty.
And one part of the offense that the Tigers are really missing is tight end play. Last year they had a big tight end that if they would get it into the red zone, the tight end was going to get the ball and score. Now they don't really have that. They're running with 3 wide receivers, have no tight end, as that ends the third quarter.
We are headed to the final 12 minutes of this one, a 17-point Destrehan lead. Back to Louisiana after the timeout. The Great American Rivalry Series brought to you by the U.S. Marines.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
A drive with momentum has been slammed into reverse thus far. 15-yard sack, 5-yard penalty. It is now second down and 30. Tigers at the Wildcats 40 as we begin the fourth. Perrin. He will gain 5, and it brings up third, and not quite as long, but still a long way to the first down marker at the 13.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Coach Salter-Formaggio doesn't have many plays on the play sheet for a third down and long like they have it right now.
No doubt this is 4-down territory, and if you're the Tigers, you don't have to get all roughly, I guess, about 20 yards in this one play, but you'd like to get half that or better.
Oh, yeah, I think if they keep the ball on the sideline, throw a quick little out to either Singleton or Preston, get about half of it, they'll be able to make it a little bit more manageable of a fourth down.
Perrin looks downfield, fires towards Singleton, and is batted away at the last moment.
Great coverage there by the Destrehan defense. They really just dropped back everybody into coverage. Obviously, a passing situation, dropped everybody back and able to break up the pass there intended for Singleton.
Brandon Scott, the safety, able to step in and slap it away when it looked like Singleton was about to make a grab for darn near the first down. It is 4th down, 23.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the decision out of Perrin to throw the ball that far downfield. I think if he would have called a little bit of a curl route, try to get most of the yards. You don't want to go a 4th down and 23 because then it's obviously going to be even more of a passing situation. I think if you make it a little bit closer, you might have that little bit of surprise that you might run the ball and get the first down.
They've got to get inside the 13 to pick up the first. Perrin will try to do it with his feet at the 30. He spins away at the 28 to the 25. Got running room. Cuts it to the 25 down to the 18.
And that was almost a complete lapse of defense there as they almost let Perrin get the whole 23 yards on his legs. That would have been a crazy run, and then you would have heard the other sideline erupting on that one.
We said the drive was key, that it needed to produce points. It did not. We're 10 minutes, 48 seconds away from the final horn in this one, and it's the Wildcats. We will have the football at the 17.
I think definitely that drive really needed points. If not, the drive before that needed points because now Destrehan gets the ball back. They're rolling on all cylinders on offense, and they can drive right down the field, the 80 yards or so, and score another touchdown and put this game virtually out of reach for the Tigers because I don't think they can muster up 24 points to try to come back.
Let's see if we get a steady diet of Matthews and Merritt again. This is Matthews who will pick up a pair, 2nd and 8. And Destrehan, no hurry to snap the football.
Thus far, a much better game than what it was last year, but Destrehan still with a 17-point lead. The Hahnville Tigers haven't scored any points against the Destrehan Wildcats in the last 6 quarters, going on 7 quarters. So, I mean, the Hahnville offense really needs to pick it up if they want to try to win this game next year or even this year.
2nd down 8, football of the 20. Play clock will tick down inside 5. Handoff is given to Smith, and Smith crosses the 23.
And obviously the Wildcats were dealing with a lot of distractions off the field that is not translated to their performance on the field. They've done a great job here in the second half, coming out from a bit of a slow start in the first half and come out and have a 17-point lead and try to drive it down the field once again.
Big play here for the Tigers. It is a 3rd down and 6, football of the 23. Wildcats get across the 28. They've got the first. New set of downs, chains move, and the clock rolls. Merritt and Matthews beside quarterback Derensburg, and it is Merritt who's got the first.
Hahnville's really got to produce a turnover. You kind of saw it there. One of the Hahnville defenders trying to go in and reach for the ball, try to strip Merritt of it. Unable to do so as he picked up the first down.
Destrehan trying to stay unbeaten and appear to be on that path, solidly so, with 9:44 left to play and up by 17. Three receivers to this side, one to the other. Matthews to the backfield on a 1st down and 10, but as long as the run's working, I don't know if you go upstairs. Matthews churns his way to the 35, picks up 4.
Yeah, you can see even more on that play. The Hahnville Tigers weren't really trying to wrap up Matthews and bring him to the ground. They were really trying to just strip the ball out and try to get the ball back to their offense, just unable to do so thus far because those running backs are definitely conscious of that fact here in the 4th quarter. They've been through this before, and they know how to conduct themselves.
Nose of the pigskin lies just shy of the 35. The end of the game, the MVP will also hand out championship trophy. All compliments of the United States Marines. Fake to Williams, give to Matthews, and Matthews with another 4. And again, Wildcats perfectly content with 4 yards a pop.
Oh, definitely. Against this tiring Hahnville Tigers defense, they'll just continue to ground and pound because that's what this offense is really built for. It's really built, get up early, have a lead in the 4th quarter, just rush the ball with Matthews all the way down until the final horn sounds.
Third down and a couple. Football eyes on the 39. You cross the 41. The chains move again, and you eat another 90 seconds to 2 minutes off the clock. Matthews. Stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. It will be 4th and 4. And the Tigers are about to get the football back.
The Tigers really need to do something on this punt return to give their sideline a little bit of a juice, a little bit of uplifting, because really with the past 2 drives on offense not really providing anything to work off of, no points on both of them. You really got to score here and hope to get an onside kick or a turnover, and then you really got to score again to try to make this a close game going into the final minutes.
Waylon LeBlanc. Brandon Singleton back deep to receive on a 4th down and 4. No rush. They'll set up the return. Taken to the hop. And Singleton brought down at the 35.
A little bit of a risky decision there by Singleton, but you're down by 17. You got to get a little bit more yards. He might have been able to bust that out, but did a great job. Got his offense a few more yards to play with, give him a little bit better field position.
All right, if the last drive was key, this drive is definitely it.
Yeah, this is the game right here for the Tigers. If they don't score here, it's going to be almost impossible for them to come back in this game.
Line of scrimmage, the 36. Perrin to pass. Singleton makes the grab. Trying to get away from a lot of maroon jerseys wrapped up after a pickup of 2.
Yeah, that play just took way too long to develop out of the hand of Perrin. He didn't get the ball out of his hand extremely fast. Singleton had some running room, but it just collapsed as the play just took way too long to develop.
Clock running down to nearly 6.5 to play. Preston in motion, Singleton the grab. And he steps out of bounds at the 43.
So great play there, gave him a few more yards, make it a little bit third and manageable, 3rd and 3 for the Tigers. So they'll really need to start moving the ball down the field. They really need to pick up this 3rd down right here.
4-down territory, gotta be, regardless of where you're at.
Yeah, regardless of where you're at, but this 3rd down and possibly 4th down is really key. If they don't make this, then I don't think they have a chance of coming back. Perrin's really got to put on the veteran cap and try to will his team to win here.
Pass complete. Craven paid for the reception, but he's got the first at midfield.
Well, when you go in the middle of the field, you know you're going to get popped, so you might as well hold on to that football, and Craven did that.
Craven's the guy that lost the football earlier in the game on a kickoff return. But there, he took a shot and hung on.
Yeah, really great concentration by Craven, able to hold on to that football after the contact. And that gives Hahnville a 1st down and a little bit of life here in the 4th.
Perrin with a rollout. And did he make the completion? Preston says he's got it, and the official agrees.
And that's about the 2nd pass I've seen Preston make in the past 2 years where you just don't know how the hell he got that ball. And that was just a crazy catch. 2 guys draped over his back, still comes up with the pass. Let's see if we can try to see it on the replay, as there's no way that DB did not hit that ball and just somehow got all the way to Preston.
Lateral to Singleton, and he'll step out of bounds at the 37.
And where was this the first half in the 3rd quarter? Quick passing game out of the Tigers, moving the ball well downfield. If only they would put this in a little bit more early in the game, they might have had a chance at this one.
2nd down 8. If they're going to have any chance at all in coming back, they've got to do something here. 5:40 to play. Football at the 37. We're in his 2nd down and 8.
And the way your kicking game's going, you might as well go for 2 on these plays because you're still down by 3 scores, no matter what you do on the offensive side.
Perrin long to Singleton, comes back for it, trying to reach over the defensive back. And now a flag comes in, and we will see if the interference was offensive or defensive. It appears, based on Singleton's body language, It is offensive.
Yeah, this call is going to be really key, as it is on Singleton on the offense. If that would have been a defensive pass interference, we could be talking about a whole new ball game, and Hahnville would have got the ball right down there at the 5-yard line.
Austin Dickerson could not make the interception, potentially because of Singleton's offensive interference. As a result, flags come out. Dickerson flagged with it, or make that Singleton flagged with it. And the penalty yardage will be marked off against the Tigers.
Yeah, I think the Tigers have really shot themselves in the foot with all the penalties that they've had throughout the first half and thus far here in the third and fourth quarters.
Perrin again to Singleton. And he's hammered at midfield.
As you saw, number 76 there on the outside trying to make a block, but the Destrehan defense just way too fast. Collapses in on Singleton and tackles him there for minimal gain.
Clock continuing to roll as we near the 5-minute mark here in the fourth. Third down, 20. Over to Craven. Wow!
And that was a hit, and the crowd has just erupted here in Destrehan, as that was a great anticipation play by the cornerback number 13.
Corian Renault. What a shot. And Craven's hurting as a result. It is fourth down and a very long way.
And that is almost a death sentence for the Tigers. As you see it again, just a big hit. Craven wouldn't have gotten many yards if he got away from that one, but that was just a huge hit and a huge kill shot for the Wildcats against this Hahnville Tigers.
Perrin punts. Williams thought about fielding and then thought again about it on the bounce, but decides to let it roll, and it does trickle inside the 10 down to the 8.
Well, Perrin did his job there as the punter, able to get the ball inside the 10-yard line and hopefully make this a prolonged drive for the Wildcats, if not a short drive, if the defense can hold their own and get a 3-and-out.
They needed points on the drive. They didn't get any. And it's the Wildcats with a football, first down and 10 at the 8-yard line. Battle on the Mississippi River is inside 4 minutes to play.
It would take a lot of the longest yard kind of plays and a lot of crazy things to happen here in the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter if the Tigers come away with this victory.
Stranger things have happened, but not often. MVP of the game, post-game championship trophy presentation, all coming up. Should be a flag as Dorensburg makes his way back to the line of scrimmage. We're not playing Canadian football rules. Two guys were in motion simultaneously. And as a result, mark-off will go against the Wildcats.
The Hahnville defense kind of playing for a little bit of pride here, try to hold the Wildcats down, try to give their offense a little bit of a chance to make this a respectable score. But the way the Hahnville Tigers offense has been playing blank thus far through the first 3 quarters and into the final 4 minutes of this fourth quarter, it's going to be really hard to stop this Destrehan offense from driving down the field once again.
Penalty yardage is half the distance to the goal. Second down and 12. Dorensburg standing just outside of the end zone. That would be the Tiger end zone, by the way. Matthews got the penalty yardage back, and it is 3rd and 10.
What's really surprising is that the Wildcats offense has really won this game with their quarterback play. I wasn't expecting their quarterback to be that big of a factor, as I thought they would just run the ball, trying to pass it a little bit and just get a couple of deep shots down the field. I thought the wide receiver would make a little bit more of an impact, but the quarterback play thus far really favors the Wildcats, as Hahnville trying to mix in their backup QB after Mike Neal gets hurt a couple games ago, and it just hasn't been the same offense since.
3rd down and 10. Merritt. There's that Matthews. It is Merritt. Kicks it in 40. Midfield. Tigers got an angle on him but won't tackle him. 10-5, touchdown. Merritt.
And if the drive before on defense was the dagger, that is just even more of a dagger, as the running back combination of Merritt and Matthews proves fatal for the Tigers, as Merritt there just absolutely destroys the Hahnville defense on that 80-something yard run there.
I think too, Merritt may have just yanked the MVP trophy out of the hands of Will Matthews.
Definitely with that run. Merritt is definitely my MVP with the way he's run the ball and caught the ball out of the backfield. Definitely my MVP for the game.
The Harvey kick. Everything he's put towards the uprights has split them. 24-zip, 2:30 to play. Destrehan leads it. Back with more in the Great American Rivalry Series, brought to you by the United States Marines.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
91-yarder from Kirk Merritt sealed the deal, although the deal may have already been sealed, but it is done now. 24-zip. Kicked out of bounds. Out to the 35-yard line will go the football, and that's where the Tigers will start maybe their last drive in the football game.
And it's just been quarterback play. I mean, Darrensburg for the Wildcats has really been a game manager. They didn't really ask for him to do much on the offensive side of the ball, but for Perrin, he really had to be the offense. He had to facilitate the running backs. He had to get plays during the passing game. It really just wasn't up to the task here tonight in this hostile atmosphere of Destrehan, Louisiana.
I don't know that moral victories mean a whole lot, but would it be one to put some points on the board and get rid of the goose egg for the first time in about 8 quarters?
Oh, I'm sure that Coach Salt wants some points here. They haven't scored against Destrehan the past 2 games, and I really think they want to score some points.
Pass is complete on the far sidelines to Waylon LeBlanc.
I'm just so disappointed that this Hahnville Tigers offense didn't get this short passing game working early in the football game. I think it would have been a completely different game if they would have had those short 5 to 6 yard passes from Perrin to those wide receivers on the outside. I just think it would have just opened up everything in the running game. And that's where Hahnville's strength is, in the running game. So if you pass the ball a little bit here and there in the first half, it opens up the lanes for your big bruising backs to run through.
First down, 10, 45, the line of scrimmage. Perrin's pass batted away and almost picked off.
Yeah, and that's just the offensive line getting tired here in the fourth quarter. Perrin can't really do much when you don't give him time. And it's probably just going to be a learning experience here for Perrin, not coming away with the victory, just going to gain experience, and hopefully that will propel him to better games in his future, because he really learned how to be a quarterback tonight.
Opposite side of the stadium beginning to thin. Here on the home side, they're hanging around. I think they want to have a celebration party after this one wraps up 2 minutes, 15 seconds from now.
Oh, definitely. They'll break out the gumbo. They'll break out the crawfish from the tailgate that hasn't been eaten yet, and they'll party all night.
Perrin throws long. Singleton makes the grab at the 17 into the end zone. Touchdown.
And where was this the first half? I told you this would be a key to the game, is Hahnville's passing game. If they could get that going, they are a much better football team. They just tried to run the ball too much during the first half, and they had those almost plays early in the third quarter. They just had to go back to the well, and you see Perrin loads up, throws a perfect ball to Singleton that beats the corner on the outside. And it's just a completely different offense when you have that passing game mixed in for the Tigers.
55-yard touchdown strike. Perrin finds Singleton. And they have broken the ice. Didn't score last year, didn't score through almost 4 quarters tonight. But here with a couple of minutes to play, they're on the board.
And there's your little bit of a moral victory. They got on the board, they had a nice pass play. Hopefully Coach Salt makes his team think about the passing game a little bit more often, and hopefully that opens up bigger and better things for the Tigers in their next few games coming up.
Preston snuffed out, trying to get the 2. It's a 24-6 Destrehan lead with a little better than 2 to play. We will keep it right here and remind you at the end of the ball game, it is the MVP trophy handed out, championship trophy as well. It's all compliments of the United States Marines and part of the Great American Rivalry Series. It's presented by the Marines, and of course, you honor the most valuable player at the end of the game, and typically from the winning team, unless I guess there was some amazing performance from the losing side. Tonight, we don't have the final say, but if we lobbied, we'd probably lobby for Kirk Merritt.
Yeah, definitely. Kirk Merritt did a great job offensively, rushing the ball when he needed to, catching the ball when he needed to, and especially providing that spark and the final dagger with that 91-yard run on the last drive.
Prior to that, we were thinking maybe Will Matthews, but that 91-yarder, Kirk Merritt, I think you got the trophy.
As maybe an onside kick here by the Tigers. Try to work off that momentum from the long touchdown drive.
Destrehan thinking so and calls the timeout. He says, let's talk about this. Let's discuss the possibility of an onside kick.
Yeah, not really much of a surprise factor here. Late, you're losing big. If you get a chance to recover the onside kick, go ahead and go for it. I mean, none really you can lose going for the onside kick here.
We talked about the fact that stranger things have happened. I recall a game in Texas, 3 touchdowns in a minute 48. The team behind wins the ball game in that 148. It can happen, though not likely.
Well, if we follow this sequence of events, Hahnville gets the onside kick. They get another long pass play. They try to go for another one. They don't get it. They get a fumble by the Wildcats. I mean, it's very plausible. 2 minutes might be really tough to get it done in that amount of time, but it's looking like a Destrehan victory all the way.
Leading it by 18. 2:04 left to play. Certainly Destrehan anticipating the onside kick. It's got to travel to midfield, and instead it's the Pooch. And calling the fair catch and making the grab and setting up things offensively are the Wildcats near the 30.
Yeah, especially since they didn't really attempt an onside kick there. I think it's pretty much done for the Tigers. Will Matthews and Kirk Merritt can definitely run the clock out for the final 2 minutes and put this one to bed. And Destrehan win their second straight game of in this series.
Football lines on the 29. Battle on the river. Mississippi and a bridge separate the two communities, Destrehan and Hahnville. And off. And Matthews makes his way to the 35, gains 6. My director in my ear saying, clarify, it's the Mississippi River. I just made the assumption, battle on the river, Mississippi. But let me clarify, there's a body of water named the Mississippi River. And of course, you know, when your engineer and producer and director is in your ear and he's a native of Mississippi, you just go ahead and do as told.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a little bit of a tough rivalry if we had had a state in between both communities. But the Mississippi River is it. The Hale Boggs Bridge is the bridge that he mentioned, and it's a major mainstay here in the community of St. Charles Parish. As this game is always a great game each year, year in and year out. Just another chapter of this game as Destrehan looks like they're going to take it.
Matthews gets a yard. not relevant at this point as tippers begin to flare. And this you don't need to mar the game from several perspectives. Number one is, I'm not certain of all the rules where Louisiana high school football is concerned, but you don't want to get into something at the end of a game that keeps you out of another game in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's why coaches are talking a little bit. I think they just called a timeout with Hahnville, trying to calm their players down, tell them that there's a game next week that we got to play. We need you all there. The defense really has no fault here. The defense did their job in the first half. They kept them to 3 points. In the second half, you really needed your offense to score some points for the defense. They really just haven't gotten that help. The defense has done an amazing job. Gave up the 24 points here in the second half, but that's really not their fault. They really held their own until Destrehan just wore them down at the end.
3rd down, 12. Timeout with 48 seconds to play. And I think you're exactly right. This timeout was called specifically for the purpose of saying, guys, do not create issues for us a week from now or a couple of weeks down the road by getting tossed because you get into a totally worthless fight at the end of a ball game.
Yeah, 3rd down. If the Wildcats pick it up, they'll just kneel it down from here on out. But the Hahnville side, a much improved effort from what they had last year, a much better game. Going into the 3rd quarter, really blew it up in the 3rd quarter in the second half where the Wildcats on offense. And there's the 1st down, and that will definitely seal it for the Wildcats.
Matthews lunges forward for the 1st, and that should put it into the game. We may have to run one more play. And Leah, do you have something for us down on the sideline?
Reed's here with Ed Reed, and we're excited for Destrehan. We're getting ready to present the trophies, and we'll be live on the field.
All right, so at the end of the ball game, we'll talk with Leah Little down on the field, handing out the MVP trophy. Handing out the championship trophy as well. Celebration has begun, and now into the victory formation shifts the Wildcats as 19 seconds remain. And that should do it. Clock winding down, it's got 8 on it, but the celebration has started. It will be a 24-6 win. Wildcats over the Tigers. MVP and the championship trophy to be handed out when we come back. It's after the break. This one over, Destrehan wins it, and it's all been brought to you by the United States Marines.
When I'm working, things can get so hectic, so sometimes I need to find an easy way to express what's most important to me. Like with my crew, I use shorthand to tell them what I need. And when I need to talk directly to my fans. But the most meaningful shorthand of all is the one I use when I'm about to drive. #X. It's an easy way to tell everyone that I'm about to drive, and I do it every time before I get behind the wheel. Use #X to pause the conversation before you drive, because no text is worth a life.
Your Marine Corps' way of life is to defend the American way of life. Every day, we take a stand for our nation, for each other, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Whew, you have to be crazy to go outside in this heat, like Harry. I saw him leaving this morning with that new water thing of his. It's like a snowmobile that floats. Doesn't he worry about being swept out to sea? Or sharks? You're gonna eat that thing all over yourself.
Some people want more out of life, and we insure the things that make more possible. Safeco Insurance. Find a local agent at safeco.com.
It is over. It's a Destrehan victory, 24-6, the Great American Rivalry Series here in Destrehan, Louisiana, part of the New Orleans Metro, I would assume, as far as the folks don't mind us referring to the New Orleans Metro and that mass of humanity at midfield. And you like to see the camaraderie with both teams gathered around. And in just a few moments, we'll hand out the MVP trophy. We think it is Merritt, but of course we don't have the final say. But if we toss our votes into the hat, it would certainly be for the guy that had the 91-yarder.
Definitely so. I mean, Merritt just did a great job, really outperformed what he did last year, and it really showed how much he really wanted this victory. Went out there, got a 91-yard touchdown to really seal it down there in the fourth quarter.
And also, of course, the championship trophy will be handed out as well. The Great American Rivalry Series, better than 100 games nationwide. And we will be in, I believe, New Jersey a couple of weeks from tonight for our next participation in the Great American Rivalry Series. Then on to Kentucky, over to Ohio, and let's see, I think that may wrap up the participation of us with all the gang. Leah Little, by the way, did a great job in arranging everything. I want to say thanks to the crew that allowed us access to some of their video, and we certainly appreciate that. Down in the production van, James Crenshaw, our executive producer. Dane's been behind the camera, and Freddie Rosario with the color analysis. Great job. A delight to work with you.
Thank you. It was my first experience announcing it with you guys. I did the past couple years for the team that provided the video, and it was just a great experience to come out here and really get a feel for how the professionals do it.
Well, we're keeping you now for that. I mean, if you throw in the word professional, you're staying.
Oh, definitely. I would love to stay and continue to work with you guys.
Leah Little is somewhere along the sidelines, and we are going to have the handing out of the MVP trophy. We are going to have the championship trophy handed out as well.
Field, these Destrehan Wildcats that just crushed their enemy tonight. How about you guys?
So Leah Little is right amongst the throng of maroon down around the 5.
We have an MVP presentation now. We have Gunny Sergeant Morgan that's going to hand off the MVP. Our MVP tonight, Mr. Merritt, our running back.
Not really much of a surprise, as the MVP is Kirk Merritt. Had the 91-yarder, and of course, he was in the running prior to the 91-yarder, but that sealed the deal.
Yeah, definitely the 91-yarder by Kirk Merritt really put an end to this game and was just a great effort by him. Really deserves the MVP award.
It's been presented by the United States Marines.
And now the championship trophy presentation and the Coach Rubber Show by Staff Sergeant Pineda.
And now the handing of the championship trophy, the Great American Rivalry Series, in the United States Marines. Proud to recognize the Wildcats as the 2014 American Rivalry Series champions. Congratulations to everyone who participated, and special thanks, of course, to the United States Marines. And there is the official presentation of the trophy, and that officially puts an end tonight's game and game coverage. It has been a good one. 24-6 your final score. Again, thanks to all who participated on the broadcast end. Leah Little, James Crenshaw, Freddie Rosario, of course Dane on our camera, and all the others who made tonight's coverage possible. It is a 24-6 Destrehan win. Robert Williamson saying so long for the Great American Rivalry Series and for the United States Marines.